Hey, fellow riblets, it's me, Tom from Target Prime Rib. I am here with my new friend Aaron Smith. How you doing, Aaron?
I'm doing fantastic, but Aaron said we need to behave. I'm not sure I want to partake in that type of activity.
Well, she said everyone, so she might be talking about the people in the chats because they
Oh,
can be a little rambunctious. So, especially Nightbot, you have to kind of control him, and so we'll say hello to a few people in the chats. If they're here or not, it's neither here nor there because we got Juju saying, Thomas, I will try to make your live. Busy day, a friend in town. I know it will be a good live. Thank you. As long as I'm alive, it's a good live, right? And it's even better when my guest is alive. And then we got
I mean,
Linda.
for now.
Yes. And we got Linda Flanagan. Hello, everyone. Hey, Linda. How you doing? And of course, we got Lynn, 22 Cat. I still wonder if Lynn has 22 cats, um, and that's why she called herself that. Um, Angie, hello. How you doing? And she must be from the South because she said, hi, y'all. And and we also have this guy. I don't know who he is, but Target Prime Rib. We are back. Cool. And of course, we got the infamous Booby Goats. Hello, everyone. Better behave. All right. And we got my carnivore mom. Look, my carnivore son is back, strong as ever. Thank you. There you go. Anybody else? Ah, Rick. Twin Brook Acres is here, and he is actually going to be my guest on the September 5th, or one of those the Saturday in September. So the first Saturday in September. So we all look forward to seeing Rick. Um, I don't know if I've ever actually seen Rick before, so that would be a first time. So I don't know if you ever seen Rick Twin Brook Acres?
I have met Rick and Lynn at Dustin's meetup last week.
Oh, okay. How are they in person?
I mean, they were very nice. They were very nice. They were excellent. If you didn't hear, I was like the talk
I
apparently
heard.
on
I
all
heard.
these meetings. I, I I made the drive and I took it up the arse on the way home too.
Yeah, and I heard that somebody hit you or something. Like,
Yep, I got as I was leaving Indy, I was about an hour outside of Indy, right before the Ohio border, a little construction zone happened. And common sense, you go into the construction zone, everyone is slowing down. Nope, this guy was not slowing down. I saw him in my mirror. I'm like, this is gonna suck. And luckily, I mean, the adjuster just came. It was only about $4,000 of damage. The biggest thing is the tailgate needs to be replaced, it looks like. But I was able to drive home. So, it sucked. The guy ran off. Don't have his information. I'm going to make a phone call back tomorrow or on Monday just to see maybe by dumb luck if the guy called, but most likely not.
probably not.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
Why would you
Well,
call?
It's a little disappointing because I was going to ask you if he was a vegan or not, but you know,
I mean, he might have been. He might have
yeah,
been. I don't know.
that might explain it, right?
Hmm.
So Smoothie saying hi, Thomas, Aaron, and all. It's good that you're including everybody. And then you got somebody from your channel, Jeff. Uh,
Hi,
Jeff
Jeff is
Holt.
king.
Yes.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
See, I can tell when somebody's on your channel from my channel.
I can normally tell when I share in here.
Well,
Yep, I can tell
you know how I can tell, right?
the little symbol, right?
Right. It's like to
Yep.
me, it looks like a paper clip, but somebody said it looked to them more like a chain. So I could see the chain.
Yeah,
That
I
way.
see that as well. I see that on my side.
And it's good to get. Well, Jiffy, I am back. Um, Hopefully for a long time. I'm going to try to get more interviews, or at least get the interviews back that I canceled out. I wasn't sure how long I was going to be gone for, but I guess Carnivore, you bounced back. You know, and I was lucky enough to have Aaron be my first guest. But we're going to keep on trying and doing. And on any days that I can't do an interview, we'll most likely have a roundtable. So either way. So that way I don't have to get rid of. The main reason I'm doing this, so I don't have to get rid of my ending video that states that we're doing this Wednesdays and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. So a little bit on the lazy side.
Mhm.
So yeah, so we have all this. We have a lot of people here. So far, we only have 16. Let me just check over at Instagram. Okay, nothing yet on Instagram. So yeah, so I was pretty. I think a lot of people were shocked that you actually drove all that way to go to meet up. But
Yeah.
who was most shocked? Were everybody, or was Dustin pretty shocked?
I think Justin was kind of putting one and one together to equal three at first, to be honest. I don't think he realized it. Amy's reaction, just to seeing everyone in general, was fantastic. Because I kind of told her the night before, I'm like, I think I'm going to take a drive, and she was excited, but I don't really think she thought I was going to come, to be honest.
Okay,
So I
oh,
think
you're taking a drive.
like
Okay, yeah.
Kelly was pretty shocked that I was there. And we were all talking in Lance's live the night before. I'm like, it's only an 8 hour drive. Kelly's driving 2 hours. What's 2 more hours? And I
Right.
kind of hemmed and hawed. I played with it. I'm like, well, it's 10 o'clock at night now. I could get there early. I could take a snooze in the car somewhere. But then I decided, I'm just going to go to sleep. I'm going to wake up around 1:45. If I feel good, I'm just going to go. And I woke up. I felt good, but I fell back asleep. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to wake up. It's going to be like 4 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be too late. But it was actually only 2:30. I'm like, I can still make this work. So I got in the car and just drove. No regrets. It was fun.
Thank you, Sandy. And just really quickly, I just want to remind people that if you guys are watching, if you guys have a channel and you want some subscribers to come onto it, just type in Prime Rib, all lowercase, and your channel will pop up just like Grandma does, and Amy, and you should be able to have people click on and subscribe to your channel. So, hey, look at that! Aaron just gave a demonstration. Um, I think you might have to do it from my YouTube.
Oh, probably. Yeah, probably. Whatever.
You don't have the program. I don't think you do. Do you have?
No, I
Do
don't
you have
think
a
so.
program?
No, no, it's all good.
No, it's okay.
I share my channel enough on yours.
Promotion. Yes, Angela. It's how we do support each other, right? All right. So, without further ado, I'm going to give you the mic, and let's see if it works for Angela. Look at that. Support Angela. Just popped in her channel. And
Hey, Matt.
hello, Matt.
Matt.
Hello. How you doing? Um, I I will, Sandy, but Nightbot already did, I think. But let me see if I can find it again. All right, there it is, right there. Buy me a coffee. I don't. Do you have Buy me a coffee, Aaron?
Do I have it?
Yeah.
Yep. I just recently set it up. Yep.
Okay. Um. All right. All
Yeah,
right.
that should be me if it comes to see. Yeah, that's me.
Spell check
Wait.
changed prime rib. Yeah. Spell checker does that a lot. So. All right, and yeah, if you guys want to, but if you guys want to support Aaron, he just put his buy me a coffee link up as well. Number one dad, look at that. I would be number one dad, but I'd have to be a father first. So, all right. So, without further ado, we will put the mic to you.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate you allowing me some time here on your channel today. It's great to be with you and seeing everyone in the chat, all the new friends. So yeah, I'm pretty much like most of us that started this journey. I was always, as long as I can remember, the biggest kid in the room. And I'm going back to like elementary school. Um, and I don't know if anyone else, was struggled with weight when they were a kid, but when you're the heaviest kid in class, you're usually not the most popular kid, especially early in life. Um, I just ate so much. I don't understand why I did. I think it was just probably because I was picked on and eating was um, like it's just a safe thing for me. And actually, when I was young, elementary school, my mom sent me to a psychologist. I never knew why I was going to a psychologist. I just went to this guy's office. Sorry, little itch. I went to this guy's office and we just talked and we played games. He let me pick what game we wanted to play, Monopoly, Sorry, whatever the case was. And it wasn't until years later that I learned that my mom sent me there because I wouldn't stop eating. Um, so we never really got to the bottom of it. And weight had always, been an issue for me. Just, struggling to lose it, wanting to lose it, but just not having like the know-how or the urge to do it. So I would say through like elementary into the beginning of middle school, it was really hard for me. Um, and it gave me a lot of anxiety and social issues that have carried on through till today, to be honest. We can get in that a little bit. But yeah, I mean, as you get a little bit older, you go into middle school, high school. Again, I mean, as a freshman in high school, I wrestled. The heaviest weight class was 250 pounds to wrestle in, and I weighed 275 pounds as a freshman. I don't remember when I got to like the 100, 200 pound range as much, just because I was always getting bigger. Um, and I figured, I'm going to wrestle, I'm going to play football to lose weight. And, that's what I was doing. And it wasn't working. I just kept getting bigger and bigger. I actually got really sick as a freshman, and I was able to lose that 25 pounds because I got strep throat really bad. I was out of school for almost 2 weeks and I just couldn't eat. So I finally lost weight, but I gained it all back. And, it was just a struggle. I liked doing a lot of stuff as a kid. Like we liked going to amusement parks and stuff, and I was able to go on all the rides I wanted. But as I got a little bit older, I couldn't fit on all the rides, and that was kind of embarrassing. So that pretty much, got me through, just kept constantly gaining weight, up until I had my original surgery, of course. Um, the biggest thing for me was when I went to Cedar Point in Ohio and I attempted to go on the Top Thrill Dragster and sat down in the test seat, not even close. And nothing was more embarrassing as, a young adult, like late teens, early 20s, than waiting in line for a ride and not being able to fit on it. Um, it just was like an emotional mess for me. And, I didn't do anything about it. I really didn't. And, I met my wife and, I'm thinking, okay, this will be my motivation. We're going to get married. I'm going to lose weight. Didn't work. So I kept getting heavier and heavier. My last recorded weight was around 360 pounds. I wouldn't doubt that I was higher than that. But my doctor, I was a diabetic probably from my early 20s. Coincidentally, I didn't actually even find out I was a diabetic until I was leaving my job and I was going to lose health insurance for a couple of months. So he's like, well, let's get you some blood work and stuff. And that's when I found out I'm a diabetic. I'm like, oh, great. I'm losing my health insurance and now I need all these medications. Um, so, the moment I found out I was a diabetic, I'm like, okay, I got to take this seriously. My mom was helping me out. So she's like, I'm going to make you food. And I was really good about taking all my meds, making sure I didn't have anything. And I did start seeing results. Like I started losing weight. I had my blood sugar under control. But I think part of the diabetes being bad was it kind of played with me mentally and kind of like gave me some brain fog where I wasn't good with taking meds and I didn't like taking them and I would forget. So the numbers kept getting worse and worse. And, at one point, my doctor basically said, well, look, if you don't change something, you're going to be dead by the time you're 30. And that kind of hit me hard. And I continued to do like yo-yo diets, be on my meds, be off my meds for a while. And it was just I wasn't getting anywhere. And we had just had my daughter. She was born, and from there I'm just like, what about gastric bypass surgery? I knew people who had it. The couple people I know that had it had good success. One of them was kind of a horror story that she kind of woke up in the middle of the surgery. Well, not surgery, but like after surgery, and she was being given her last rites because she went bad, but then she got through it. So I really pondered it, and then one day I went to my doctor and said, "What do you think about gastric bypass surgery?" And he didn't even try to talk me out of it. He didn't try to suggest anything. He's like, "Yep, okay, let's do it." And he just, he went with it. And this was about 15 years ago is when I had my surgery.
Mm.
Um, and I didn't. Some insurance companies required you to lose weight beforehand. Um, a certain percentage. I didn't have to do that. I just had to do the normal psychological test. All your pre-op stuff.
Mhm.
And a lot of people say I kind of cheated my weight loss by doing that. And as many of us know, Brian's story is it's the best worst decision that I've made in my life.
Right.
I mean, people say, yeah, maybe I cheated, maybe I lost a lot of weight, maybe I'd be dead now. But if you ask me, I just stacked the deck in my favor. When you're out of aces, you got to find an ace somewhere. So if I had to stack the deck, I had to stack the deck. So I had my surgery, and the results. I mean, the surgery. Before I get to the results, um, the morning of the surgery, I was just like, you're having those doubts. Should I do this? Should I not do it? And I was actually starting to feel a little bit sick right beforehand. I'm like, damn it, I hope I don't come up with like an illness where they can't do the surgery. But I was able to get the surgery done. And that night when I was in the hospital room by myself, I just sat in tears all night. I was just an emotional mess. Like, what did I just do to myself? Why did I just, go through this? And that was like really rough. That was the only time I regretted it, was immediately after. And I went to the support groups beforehand, and they said you're going to have those emotions before, afterwards. It's natural. But I got out, got through the surgery okay. I had a little bit of a hiccup at the hospital, just because before you leave a hospital they need you to go to the bathroom, and you feel like you got to go, but unfortunately I couldn't go. And they did an ultrasound of my bladder, and they said, well, you're really full, so we needed to give you a catheter. And now I had to have that wide awake, so anyone who's had a catheter wide awake, that's not fun. um, and then they actually had to do it a second time on me. That was the worst. Yeah, I had to have it twice, and the second time they told me, well, we're just going to leave it in you now. And then I'm just like, oh, this sucks. It was like, I think I was more stressed about that than anything. But the surgery worked. I mean, I got out. I followed the diet like they told me to. I could only eat a little bit of food. I had all the gastric bypass cookbooks. I had everything like that. And I was being really behaved. The only thing that I did struggle with was making sure I was drinking enough water. About a few weeks after the surgery, I was just laying down. Exactly. I was laying down, and I'm like, I got to go to the bathroom, but I started feeling like I was getting the sweats and everything. And I go onto the toilet and I sit down. Next thing I know, I wake up. I'm on the floor. My head's all crinked up against it, and I passed out. There was nothing. I just passed out, and that was the worst thing that happened to me along the way. Um, but for anyone who's had the gastric bypass surgery, or familiar with it, one of the biggest things that is the side effects is what's called dumping. Dumping is different for everyone.
Mm.
You could get an upset stomach, you could throw up, you might get the poops. There could be any number of things, and it usually happens when you eat sweets. Like you have some chocolate, you have whatever sugar. And So I'm doing really well. I got down to about just under 210 pounds. Now this wasn't quick. This was obviously I was doing the diet, I was exercising, and I returned to Cedar Point because that was where like my emotions were for like riding a roller coaster. And for anyone who knows, Cedar Point has Top Thrill Dragster. So me and my friends get there and we wait in line. They don't check me on the test seat. And as you get closer to the line, you go and they're like, okay, sit down in the seat. And I clicked the lap bar down, thinking, okay, this is where they're going to tell me to get up. They come, do their walk around, all clear, and the relief after that surgery when I was able to fit on that ride was just like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm actually going on this ride, and the ride was great. After that ride, I went into the bathroom and I sobbed like a baby. I was just like crying my eyes out, just out of like that enjoyment. I'm in this bathroom at an amusement park, and people are like, what the hell is this guy crying about? But it was at that point that I saw myself for the first time after all the weight loss. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm in the clear now. Like I've done it. I'm not off my diabetic meds yet, but if they've been cut down, I'm like, I'm in the clear. Not even a month after that, we're at a birthday party and they're having cake and they're like, you want to try a piece? I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me just have a little piece. Let me have a little piece. I'm like, I'm probably going to pay for it. I'm going to feel it. And I ate the little piece of cake, went down fine. And then I had a little bit more cake, went down fine. And that's when I started to learn I don't have the dumping. I can't eat nearly as much as I once did, but I could eat whatever I wanted. I went back to having the cookies, the brownies, pizza, and that was where everything started down the path of gaining weight back. So I was once again bad about taking my meds. Now I never got back up to the 300-pound range, but I got up to probably about 270 pounds. And I was again bad about taking medicine, and I started having side effects from being a diabetic. My feet I started having my feet, the neuropathy. Um, I started getting a lot of floaters in my eyes. And that's where I kind of started getting a little bit more nervous, where I was looking for a new doctor. And I met with the doctor finally, and she was like, you know, have you ever heard of keto? I'm like, no, don't know what it is. So she kind of explained it to me a little bit what keto was, but she's like, I have a nutritionist for you to go speak to. And I'm like, sure, why not? So here I am on a 4 o'clock on an afternoon. It's a July afternoon. It's probably about 90 degrees outside. I'm going into this guy's office. It is pitch black. He has like his overhead projector on, and he starts giving me all this information. I had no clue what he was talking about. He was showing diagrams of like ketones, and then out of nowhere he's like, "Well, you can eat potatoes, but my son eats potato." I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?"
Well, yeah, obviously he was a
And
carnivore.
yeah, no, he was not. But I was just so confused. I left this meeting and I'm like, no, whatever. I have no clue what you're talking about. And I went about my way. And at this point, it was when I actually started to realize I didn't have it up here yet. Um, you know, the surgery was a great tool for me, but I wasn't mentally prepared for it.
No.
I wasn't like, yeah, I'm going to lose all the weight, but was I ready for the aftermath? And so I got away from, everything. I just went about my business. And then the doctor, I went to go see her again. And it was just a PA. It wasn't actually the actual doctor. And she's like, well, I'm going to be leaving the practice. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, can you tell me where you're going? She's like, no, I can't. That's like some sort of like HIPAA or something. Doctors can't like tell you where they're going. But she's like, you'll be able to find me and it'll be online. I'm like, okay, perfect. So it took me a little while, but I found where she went and I made an appointment with the doctor there. And about a week before this doctor appointment, I got a phone call from the doctor's office, and they said, we don't want you as a patient. Sorry. I'm like, what? What do you mean you don't want me as a patient? And they're like, well, we got your blood work, and we don't think you take your health very seriously, so you're just not the type of patient we want. I'm like, well, wait a second. What do you mean you got my blood work? I've never been to your practice in my life. And they're like, well, your most recent blood work must have got sent to us. I'm like, by who? I'm like, I'm getting really confused now. I'm like, who would have sent you my blood work? You have no anything with me. You don't have any type of affiliation. And then I put one and one together, and I'm like, it has to be this PA. Because I've been with her enough where she saw my weight go up and down, my sugars go up and down. And that's what finally kind of lit a fire under me. Like, okay, now what do I do? And I'm like, it's time that I take this stuff more seriously. And like, I want to prove this person wrong. So I went back online to this keto stuff. I'm like, let me look up this keto again. I'm not going to go to this guy again, but let me look it up. And I'm sure, like many of you here, the one thing that I found with this was Dr. Ken Berry. And this was before he went carnivore. This was when he was just the keto channel, keto information. And I started watching his videos. I started going to his lives where, you could actually like get a question without having to pay for it and get an answer. And excuse me. From there, I learned of Thomas Delore, Jason Fung, just to name a few. Those were my early influences. And I said, you know what? I'm that's it. I'm done with this. I'm gonna reverse my type 2 diabetes. I'm gonna say, forget you, doctor. I'm gonna prove you wrong. And Dr. Barry even messaged me back and said, well, when you do, give me that book. I'll autograph it and I'll give it to her and say, who do you think takes his life seriously now? And I was so gun ho. I had found a new doctor. I told her what I was doing, and I just boom. I attacked it. I carb tracked. I did everything I could do, and within probably 5 months, I was off all my meds again. My doctor, she took me off of them. One of the things that we did learn in that point, because I was telling them, like, well, I'm checking my finger and it's not making sense with my A1C. I don't understand it. And they're like, well, let me have you see one of our specialists. Because this is like one of those doctor's offices that's kind of like everything in house. They have like the blood work, they have everything right there. So I go and speak to them. They're like, well, have you ever had your iron checked? I'm like, no. I'm like, I don't think anyone ever has. They're like, well, a lot of times after the surgery, you you have low iron. Now, low iron can give you a false A1C, especially if you're seeing different numbers in your regular blood work or your normal finger pricks. So they did blood work and I was very low on iron. And they're like, okay, well, just take a supplement. And so I started taking the supplement, and then everything started evening out as I'm doing my keto journey. So that was really a big difference for me, was getting my iron under control. Um, so fantastic. We're off of it. I'm like, yes, I finally did it. I defeated type 2 diabetes. I'm off my meds. And then and the mental part came back in where I started going off plan again. Started eating stuff like, oh, I can have a little cookie here and there. But I wasn't prepared for that, because then I ate a cookie, it became two cookies. It became, oh, no, I'm going to have a donut today. Well, what's if I have a second donut? It's not going to be a big deal to have a couple donuts.
Yeah.
I can make it up tomorrow. And I didn't get back up to 270. but I probably floated between 250, 240 to 250. And that's where I stayed. I didn't gain all like the girth back. Um, but I did get back to the point where if I wanted to go on the rides, I was going to have issues again. That kind of is how I lived for a while. I could lose a little bit of weight, but then I would be bad again. I would go back to, not taking my meds all the time. And, you know, my personal life in between then and the last year and a half, I coached softball for years. My kids play sports, so I was very active in their lives, in their activities. I umpire on this side. So, I need to be able to move around. And something that's I didn't go over that was kind of like important in the story was about well, now it's been about 13 years ago. My brother passed away at the age of 39.
Sorry.
And thank you. And and he didn't live a healthy life. Smoker, drinker, and just didn't eat healthy. And at that point, you know, that was not long after my surgery, about 2 years out from my surgery. And I got really depressed, like really depressed, where I was going out drinking every night. Um, like everyone would go to bed, I would drink. And that's where a lot of that weight came back on. And I was looking at it from the point of view, like, when he died, it was a heart attack. We had to get some I had to get an autopsy for him just because my grandfather, which would have been my mom's dad, he died when he was around that similar age from an aneurysm. And or is that right? The aneurysm when it goes through the heart. I believe that's what the proper terminology
Yeah,
was.
I believe so too.
And they're hereditary. So I needed to know if that was what happened to my brother, because I need to know for myself, but I also want to know for my children, of course.
Right.
And it wasn't. It was just abuse on the body over the years, and that time in my life, it was like the worst time of my life, and that's probably when I gained most of the weight back after the surgery. And that was the worst I'd ever been when it was coming to drinking. Um, but I think that's important because that was where, I hadn't gained all my weight back at that point, but I think that was probably where it all kind of fell apart for me again. And, you know, that led us up to, a year and a half ago where, I was just thinking back like about my brother. My kids are getting older. Like my daughter's going to be going away to school in a few years, and I want to be around to see them grow up. And I said, enough is enough. I've tried everything. I mean, throughout the years before surgery, what do we have? We had Atkins, we had vegan, we had vegetarian, eat all the meat, eat no meat, eat all the pasta, eat no pasta. I tried everything. And I can truly say at some point, almost every one of them did something. I lost weight during all of them. There's not one of those diets that I did not lose weight, whether it was water weight or whatever the case was. They all worked. But, I had tried keto, I had success, but then I slipped back in my ways. So I said the only way to do this is just go hardcore carnivore. And that's what I decided to do last year in April. I made my first video while my daughter was doing her practice. I just was in my car. I put on my phone and said, "Hey, you know, I'm tired of this, and I'm going to try doing a carnivore diet for 30 days. I'm going to give up soda, which I didn't drink regular soda. I drank diet soda. I haven't had a sugary drink. I couldn't tell you in how many years, unless it was by accident somewhere they brought it to me.
Right.
I'm like, I'm going to give up that. I'm going to give up my sugar-free energy drinks. And I was allowing myself coffee. I was allowing myself some cream in my coffee, but I was giving everything up. And that's where I started on this journey. And it was it was easy at first, but it became hard really quick. Like especially when you were just getting sick of eating beef all the time, or when I first started my channel, I was the average keto carnivore guy. That was a mouthful for my name. And I really just called myself the average person because I'm like everyone else. I pay my bills. I have my family, I have expenses. I don't have an exorbitant budget that I can just be buying ribeyes all the time. Yeah, I mean, I did at first. I splurged and bought some things or got them when they were on sale, but I really had to do this on a budget friendly way. So I did really stick with ground beef, butter, and bacon for the longest of time, and the results were great. I was losing weight. I did everything. Hadn't I didn't drink pop from the end of March, so March 31st till like middle to the end of July is the first diet soda I had, which I kind of already knew I was going to do because my daughter had some travel softball tournaments, and I was kind of setting myself up for this. We were going to Hershey, Pennsylvania for one tournament, and then we were going to Jersey for another tournament, which we were going to be going to New York City for a couple of days as well. So I kind of had always set myself up for like, okay, I'm doing great right now, but I'm going to sabotage myself come July. So, through those first couple of months, I was really great. And then July was here. So, first real test, we were going to Hershey, Pennsylvania. Obviously, everyone knows what's in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but this is when I learned I was mentally ready. Because, like I told you before, unless you're mentally ready, I don't care what you do. You can go to carnivore, you can go to keto, you can have gastric bypass surgery, you can eat whatever, you can eat as strict as you want, you can have every shot you want. And I have nothing against anyone who does shots, who does the surgery, but unless you're mentally ready, it's going to fail. A tool is only as good as the person who's operating it. And for the last how many years, I wasn't ready to operate it. So here we are, Hershey, Pennsylvania. First night we stop in Dorney Park, go to an amusement park for the night, and everyone's eating, whatever they were eating. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm just gonna have a beef patty and a hot dog. Nothing there. But then we got to Hershey, and you go into that place, they're giving you samples. I popped that sample in my mouth. And you know what I learned, Thomas? That Hershey Kiss and that Hershey bar at Hershey, Pennsylvania tastes exactly the same as the Hershey bar I could buy right now from 7-Eleven down the
Of
street.
course.
Exactly. But that was it. I didn't go back for another one. And then my wife ordered one of those like dessert, like those fancy little like things you're gonna get at Hershey Park, all the chocolate. Took a bite of it just to try it, and that was it. I'm like, I'm not going back for more. Like before, I would have been like, oh, let me have half of that. I'm walking around the park all day. So we got through that and then went home. And then 2 weeks later, we're in Jersey, in New York City for a tournament. And we stayed right outside in Hoboken. And are you familiar with the Cake Boss?
Of course. Yeah.
Of course. So we literally, I went there years and years ago when we were in New York City for WrestleMania. I tried it, but my family had never had it. So we went to the cake shop there. I can't even remember the name of it anymore. I can't even remember Buddy's whatever it was called. I can't even remember the name anymore. Carlos. So we went in there. Everyone ordered stuff, and I ordered stuff to try. Like I just want a piece to try it, and I tried it. I didn't go back for seconds. And even when we were in Jersey, we went to Philly for the day and we ordered cheesesteaks to try. Now I'm gonna have a cheesesteak. I'm gonna eat it with the bread and everything. We went to Geno's and Pat's, but we just split it up. So between us splitting up two sandwiches, I had what? A half of a sandwich. Yes, Teresa, Carlo's Bakery. I had half of a sandwich, and I will completely say they were both overrated. I wish I wouldn't have had it because I was unsatisfied. But I controlled it. I didn't have any issues. We went to New York City. I didn't have any pizza. I ate clean. I mean, as well as clean as you can. It was more keto at that point, but still, I mean, that's pretty good when you're going to New York City with all those options. I probably had a wrap of some sort. But when I came home, I just went back on my way. I didn't, um, I didn't start going into eating more junk food like other people would do after a vacation. I wasn't tempted. Even on the drive home when they're all eating their chips and cookies and that junk on the drive home, I was perfectly fine. I had finally controlled it. When I got home, yeah, sure. I enjoyed myself when we were there. So obviously my numbers, I gained a little weight. No big deal. But I didn't let it deter me. At first, I kind of, was upset at myself. Like I had been doing this, and this whole time over the months on my videos, I had been saying, I'm self-sabotaging because I know I'm gonna go off the diet here. And I did, but I was fine. And ever since then, I've been rolling with the diet, with the lifestyle. I've turned more carnivore-ish now because I can't, you know, you gotta do what's gonna be sustainable. Could I live off just eating ground beef and bacon? Of course, who couldn't? It's great. I need flavor. I need something. So I do add some veg here and there. I will have some sauteed peppers and onions, mushrooms. I don't eat the spinach anymore. I used to love making cream spinach, but I stay away from spinach now. And the occasional salad I'll have, if I'm out to dinner or something.
Okay.
But it's not, I'm not filling my plate up with a salad or something like that. I'm not ordering a salad when I'm out, but I do have some veggie. I do find, especially with the gastric bypass surgery, um, I still have limitations as a result of the surgery today. Um, one of the big things are chicken. I can't eat dry chicken. The biggest thing is chicken breast. If I have a piece of chicken that's too dry, I have a couple bites, it will weigh in my stomach and I feel as sick could be. That is like one of the biggest things that I can't do. The other thing I can't do is if I have too much fat too quickly, like if I scarf it down, I'll be on the toilet before long. I will be. And it's just life, having the smaller stomach, not being able to absorb everything. That's just what happens to me. But that's why I started adding a little bit of the veg in to see if that would help, and it does help. It honestly does. Um, but for the most part, I will pretty much just stick with eating carnivore. I mean, do I have the occasional bread? Yes. We were at a baseball game and I ordered a hot dog and I ate the roll with it. Yeah, it happens. We all slip up, but I don't let it define me anymore. I don't make it a big deal when I slip up anymore. I don't give myself a hard time as I kind of tell everyone on my channel, like, if you slip up, it's okay. Just accept it. I accept if I have a cookie today, I accept I'm putting that cookie in my mouth. But at the same time, I'm gonna forgive myself for doing it. I'm human. Hey, we all do it. And then you gotta move on. That's the big thing. You gotta move on from it.
I agree. I totally.
And that's where it got me to now. And these videos, at first my videos were just about me holding myself accountable, but I'm like, okay, here I am, I'm doing another video. Oh, I weighed in, I lost 5 pounds. This was my week. And you know I was kind of lacking something because um the biggest thing, and I do see he's here, Mr. Brian Airy.
Oh, of course. You know he was
Um,
going to come eventually.
oh yeah, and I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Where I am today mentally, and being able to come on these lives, being able to go more into chats, go to events, is 100% due to Brian. And when I would go into the chats, over the last couple of months, up until like a few months ago, right before I joined Dr. Kiltz, I would go in there and I would be like, hey, hi, I want to see what the person's talking about. And I just found it funny that no one's really talking to the host. Like if me and you are just talking right now, everyone's just talking amongst each other. They're not talking to us. They're just talking to
Yeah,
each other. I'm like, what the?
yeah.
This
Something
makes
would
no sense
really
to
have
me.
to get your attention to say a
Well,
comment to the actual host. You're absolutely right.
it, exactly. It's not like when you go to Dr. Barry, you're asking questions. You're trying to get information, or I'm like, what the hell is this? This is so weird. And like I was telling you at the start of this, I have a big social anxiety issue. If
Okay.
I'm going somewhere with friends, I'm fine. It's a party. If I'm going to your place and I know people there already, I'm fine. But one of the first times I started, knowing of you was when you went to Dr. Kiltz's meetup a few months back, and that was when I first joined Dr. Kiltz's group. And Ali was like, "Oh, we're having this meetup if you can come," and I'm like, I just can't make it work," and I really couldn't make it work. But the anxiety I had was I know no one there. I'm going to drive there. I'm going to have a panic attack while driving there. And it's a couple-hour drive for me. I'm going to sit in the parking lot. I'm going to be pooping my pants. I'm going to see people going in. I'm going to act like I'm talking on my phone to make it look like, oh yeah, no, no, I'm faking it out completely. And then I'm going to turn around and come home because I had the fear of not fitting in. And this goes all the way back from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Being picked on, not being welcomed into the groups. And it, I mean, it stuck with me and it still does.
Yeah.
Like I legitimately couldn't make the Dr. Kiltz meetup work. I really wish I could now. I really wish I could have. But I just, between my daughter's schedule and my umpiring schedule, it just, just couldn't have worked. But that was my fear. Like I was going to find a reason not to go. And then I did an interview with Alia on there. She's like, "Well, you should have just came." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." Um, but leads me back to these chats. And we see each other's names now. We see each other, but Brian Airy, that name, I don't know why his name out of every name stood out. Maybe it was because he was saying hi like every other post.
Well, he said
That could
that's
have
what he was
been
going to do. Yeah. That's
exactly. But like this Brian Airy, like who the heck is this guy? And why? That's all he's doing is saying hi to people. I don't get it. But then as I started hanging out in Dr. Kiltz's group, and the first group that I really went into, like when I started this, was Carnivore Quest, Larry and Cassie. They're the reasons why I started my page. And I kind of got along with Larry, like, his smaller group. I was talking to him, and that's where I really started going. But again, this Brian Airy just shows up everywhere. And then it clicked. You know, the community aspect of everything clicked. Like that's what everyone's talking about when find your community, find your tribe, like find where you fit in. The whole time I'm thinking it's just people hanging out in Dr. Barry or Carnivore Quest chat, learn talking to them. I didn't get it. And then finally, like a light clicked. Excuse me. And I definitely owe that completely to Brian because that's when I started like opening up more in these chats, getting to know people more, you know, being more comfortable jumping on a live, like doing like with Dr. Kiltz and Alia, which Dr. Kiltz wasn't available, but that's okay. Jumping on with you, doing it with Dave Mack, Ron, um, Amy. And that really helped me in that, and you know, the relief I felt because unfortunately, like others, I don't have the support at home. You know, like when I cook for my family, they sorry, little fly here. Um, they eat the way I eat. When I cook and I shop, I buy what I want to buy. Now, will I buy stuff when I'm shopping when I know they need stuff like bread and stuff? Of course, it's my family. But when I'm cooking dinner, you're getting what I'm eating. Um, and over the last while now, like at least now my wife is more willing, like, hey, I'm making this for us, do you want me to pull aside some ground beef for you or something? So that's better. Um but these communities have so opened my eyes, and so it just have helped me with that anxiety that I had a problem with forever. And that led me to a few weeks ago when I went to Healing Humanity in Toronto. It's about a 2-hour drive for me. And like every other situation, I'm driving there, pooping my pants, thinking, what am I doing? And I actually paid the extra money for the actual dinner and the movie up in Toronto. I'm like, as I'm driving there, I'm like, I can turn around anytime. I'm like, I'm not gonna know anyone. Am I gonna be sitting at dinner by myself? These are all the fears that like were going through my mind. Like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to be by myself. No one's going to accept me. I mean, I want to go meet Carrie Mann. Am I actually going to get to meet him? Or am I just going to like see him over there and get a wave, maybe if I'm lucky? And I'm sweating my nards off. And the night before, I was in Grandma. I was talking, in the group with Grandma there, and Grandma had already been there. And she was just like, "Oh, he's really nice. You'll have a good time." She's like, "When you go there, give him a hug and say Grandma sent you." And
Yeah.
yeah, and Grandma Barb, yeah. So I'm driving, and I finally, oh my God, trying to find parking in Toronto is an absolute crap show. I got lucky where the dinner was. It was a Brazilian steakhouse. I was able to get parking, and it's 5 o'clock is when it was like the get together was starting, and I'm sitting in my car. Now I was just wearing comfortable clothes there, like for the drive. I'm like, I gotta get changed somewhere. I gotta put on some decent looking clothes. And I'd actually just bought a pair of pants that I fit into a size 32.
Wow.
I was always wearing 38s and 40s, and then I finally fit into some 36s. I might have even been able to go one size smaller, maybe, but I'm like, I'm gonna wear these first time I'm wearing them. So I'm like, okay, get out of your car, dumbass. Just go. Part of my language. And I'm like, and I kind of filmed a little bit on my channel. People have really responded to that video that I did. So I'm like, I'm walking around, the back of the parking lot to go to the front. Like I'm just, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I turn the corner and then I just see a small group of people standing there. And I can see Carrie, his back was to me because he was talking to somebody. And I walk up slowly and I'm just very like shy, minding myself. And someone smiles, hi, and then out of nowhere, this gentleman walks up to me. He's like, "Are you here for the dinner?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Hi, my name's Dwight," and he introduced himself. And right there, I'm like, "Oh, someone came up to me and introduced himself." I'm like, "Great." And then Adam introduced himself to me.
Right.
And then I just started kind of talking to just a couple of the folks were there. And then Carrie was talking to someone. Then, I'm not going to interrupt him while he's talking to somebody to introduce myself. But, he started just working his way around, and I shook his hand. I'm like, this is going to be really odd, but can I give you a hug? I'll explain why after. He's like, yeah, he's like, I love giving hugs. So I gave him a hug, and I was like, okay, so I'm just going to play a little bit of a game here. Um, I was told last night to give you a hug by somebody. Who told me to give you this hug? And he's like, someone told you to give me a hug. He's like, one, 1,000, 2,000, Barb. Yes. And I'm like, yes, grandma told me to give you the hug. And right there, there was just like this like relief off my shoulders. Like, like we're just having a conversation. And he couldn't say enough good things about grandma.
Of course
I
not.
mean, he just he brought up the blankets that she brought for him, and he just said how inspiring she was. And I even told her that. I'm like, he would not stop raving about her. And so we go into dinner, and I still have those little fears, like where am I going to sit? So I just sat next to this woman, and actually, there's this young gentleman who was sitting across from me, and then Carrie was sitting right there. So we were just talking, and these people were like taking an interest in my story, and this is what sorry, this is what turned around the whole experience for me, and it's just changed so much for me. So I was showing some pictures of, even before when I had my surgery. And the woman next to me was like, "Oh my God, that's just amazing results." She's like, "Way to go. Like, congratulations." And she's like really happy for me. And I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone, but I suppose if anyone's watched my video, they know where this is going. So he's talking about the movie, and Carrie's talking to the young kid, and his name's Dante. So I saw Carrie earlier in the day with Adam. They were on a live, and they were driving up to Toronto, and they're like, "Oh, Dante's going to be there." And I'm thinking, I've heard a name Dante before in the carnivore world. I didn't, I've heard of the name. People have brought up someone named Dante. So I'm thinking maybe this is the Dante that I've heard of. Is there, what's the Dante in Frigno or something? Was that his name?
Dante
Something like that?
Ferrigno, yeah.
Okay.
Freddie
So, so
Ferrigno.
so when I heard him say the name Dante, I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's this person that I've heard of all this time. No, it's this kid named Dante. So I just know it's not the same person. But they're just talking. Carrie and the woman and the kid are talking about this guy's dad, and they're talking about this guy named Jeff. And I knew nothing about the movie at all. I just knew Bill Nass' story was going to be in there. I didn't know of any other stories that were going to be in there. Um, and I'm just like, you guys keep talking about this gentleman named Jeff. I don't. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound ignorant or anything, but who's Jeff? And I'm assuming he was in the movie. And the woman next to me said, "Well, that was my husband that passed away."
Oh,
And right there, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, and the night went on, but you know, as we're just having dinner, I can't, like, this woman, her husband is like a focal point of this movie, and like she was taking a genuine interest in like my story and stuff. And that hit me so hard during dinner. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Like I started filming, like once I was walking back to my car. I'm like, this has just changed, like this soul experience has just changed my life. And it started just really opening it up to like what I want to do now. And just knowing, like, watching the movie, I mean, I was in tears watching it, especially when his story came up, just because of the whole night. And after the movie ended, I was just sitting there, like, everyone was walking out, and I'm just staring at this blank screen, like, I need to focus on what's really important now. And you know, I just actually sat and talked with the white Adam and Carrie forever in the theater afterwards. We were just in the hall just talking, and they just really took an interest in my story and like what I wanted to do. And as I'm leaving there, I'm just like, I gotta make a difference in people's lives now. And with that social anxiety, I'm like, I think this might have gotten me past it. And I think it really did. And it helped clarify to me like what I want to do. Like, I can't just quit my job and become a health coach. but I did do the Kills coaching certification. I'm doing
You
Amy's tech
graduated already,
class.
right?
Yep, I graduated.
Congratulations. Yeah. That's awesome.
Thank you. I'm doing the I'm doing that Amy's course to, improve my technology and get better with all of that. But as I'm leaving there, like that just opened my eyes to like I want to help people, whether it's one person and then help another person, whatever I can do, I want to do. And that kind of led me to go into that indie meetup. Like I'm like, I'm not really gonna go. And then, because the first time Dustin mentioned it to me, he's like, "Oh, we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings." I'm like, "Why don't you come to Buffalo and get some real wings? None of this
Yeah,
Buffalo
come to
Wild
the
Wing."
actual like the original
Yeah,
spot,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Come here. And he's like, "Oh, I'm in Indiana." I'm like, "Oh, I used to live in Indiana." I'm like, "Oh, that's only an 8-hour drive." I'm like, "That's a little bit of a drive." I'm like, that's not horrible. But then it's like, okay. Um,
Well,
and then that,
you did there, right? I mean, think about it. Here Dustin's saying that New York is too far from Indiana, from his end, and then you go from your end to Indiana, proving him
yep,
wrong. Like, hey, if
yep.
I can do it, you could do it.
Exactly. Because I'll be honest, like where I live, I mean, like we have like on Facebook, we have like a Western New York, Southern Ontario support group type thing, keto group. They get together every once in a while. Usually when they get together, I can't get together with them. It's just schedules are really tough. Um, but like I said, I know I toyed with it. I'm like, I'm not really going to do it. But then that night in Lance's channel, like when we're just like Kelly was in there, Brian was in there, I was in there. I'm like, so how far is that for you, Kelly? It's like 6 hours. I'm like, wow, it's only 2 more hours for me. I'm like, it's like 7, 8 o'clock. I'm like, if I leave now, I could get there by 4 a.m., sleep for a little bit, and then come back. And I was toying with my wife with the idea. She wasn't a big fan of me going. Kind of leads to that support at home, um, which makes it rough, which makes these communities even better for me. But I'm like, forget it. I'm going. I got there and seeing Amy's reaction, meeting everyone, meeting Lynn and Rick and Evelyn that were there. It was just, oh my gosh, the experience. Like, I truly now feel like I could go to just about any event now. I'm not going to have those anxieties. I mean, I probably always will have a little bit of it, but it's not going to be like before.
Right.
I even was it Keto Palooza? I'm like, where's Keto Palooza? And that's in Kentucky. I'm like, how far is that? 8 hours. But unfortunately, with that, my daughter, she's going into her senior year of high school. She
Okay.
plays softball, and we're at the point now where she's got to start doing some like camps for softball at school she's looking at. And that weekend is a big camp weekend for her, which I'm most like, I mean, I would basically have to leave Saturday morning from Keto Palooza to drive back home the 8 hours to pick her up to drive another 5 hours. That's going to be a little bit rough. So I don't think I can make that work. And that's not the anxiety. That's just a lot of driving. Drive 8 hours to drive another 5 hours is going to be rough. So, but it does have me wanting to definitely go to these events. I wish there were events around here. I really do. I
Nice.
mean, there's
Really nice.
there's there's nothing. I mean, you would think New York too. Like, I mean, even New York City. I mean, well, for me, New York City is a 6 hour drive. Then I'm thinking, why not a big city like Toronto?
Right.
But then I'm thinking, well, probably people getting across the border to Toronto might be the bigger issue for people. Um, but yeah, I'm just like, I really wish there was more up here. And definitely the next time Dr. Kiltz does something here, I will definitely do it.
Well,
I would love to go
we're
to
supposed
other
to have a meet.
events.
I don't know if it's definite or not, but I could let you know. There's supposed to be a meetup where I'm at, right here in Belmar.
Okay.
So you shouldn't be that far from me.
Nah, you're about, I mean, six,
uh,
7 hour drive, probably.
is it? Is it really? Because I'm in New York,
Maybe.
so um,
How far are you from, wait, you're Belmar?
mhm.
I'm just Google mapping it right now. Belmar,
Belmar. Because I know there's two
Belmar,
different Belmars.
Belmar, New Jersey. There we go. You are, Yeah, just under 7 hours. Just under
Oh,
7 hours.
okay.
I mean, again, it's closer than I was when I went to Indy. So I mean, it's. I will say that drive through Pennsylvania sucks.
Yeah.
Going across Pennsylvania, I mean, again, it's worth it. Trust me, and that's definitely a doable drive. Any of those drives, if it's under 8 hours, it's definitely doable for me. I don't
Right.
mind driving. Is it the most exciting drive by yourself? No, but definitely it's doable. And it's I'm like everyone else, like, going to Hack Your Health with or Keto Palooza. The ticket's not ridiculously priced, but by the time I start adding in the cost of driving or flying, hotel, the ticket, that adds up. I'm the kind of person who, with my family, I hate spending money on myself when I can do something with my family. Like, I would rather take my kids somewhere on a trip than do something for myself. And going to Healing Humanity, going to New Jersey or to Indy, those were the first times I have really done anything for myself in some time. And I umpire, and that's kind of like my play money, and that's what I used it for. I used it for that. And that's the first time in a long time. And just the way I feel with it, with these groups, these communities now, it's just amazing. Just amazing. And that's led me to now, like, I'm much more comfortable, like, going online. I'm like, I like doing my videos. I don't have the best videotaping abilities. I don't have the greatest of computers. So, my cooking recipes and all that stuff aren't the greatest. I'm learning still, but I'm happy doing it, and you know, it's keeping me motivated. And people like yourself are keeping me motivated. Even though you went away for a little while, you've come back. I remember Larry wanted it and was considering giving up doing his channel for a while because he fell back. But I'm a fan of Batman. Why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up.
Right.
So I think that's the huge thing is, this community is full of people who have fallen, but it's also full of people who've gotten back up. And you know what? When you're struggling to get back up, it's full of people who are going to reach their hand out and help you up, and they'll carry you along the way if you need it. Um, and full circle,
Yeah.
comes back to Brian for me, because if I wouldn't have seen Brian's name, and I don't know why. I don't know why Brian over. Why wouldn't a name like Spanky stand out to me? Why would Brian Airy stand out to me?
Because he said hello to everybody so many times. So yeah.
Yep. And
Persistence. Persistence.
I mean, I have a picture of Brian that I'm not going to share, but Brian knows what picture I have to share one day if he ever tries to cross me.
It's like hint, hint. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, I was thinking, well, as you were talking, today's the 15th, right? Yes.
Yes, it is.
So I do gift memberships twice a month. And since this is also the first time coming back with interviews, I figure I'm going to gift some memberships. Now, I haven't really been doing any videos, so I want people in the chats to give me an opinion and let me know if they think it's a good idea, because I can now do live memberships. So maybe to add a third live for members only. So I want to see what people think about that. So just tell me in the chats. But while we're at it, I'm going to share my screen so you guys can actually see that. All right. And then we go from here. We will. All right. So you guys can see it, right? All right. You see Aaron talking to himself right now. I mean, talking to me right now. So, so we're gonna go. I'm gonna go back. You guys aren't, but we're gonna send the 5 memberships. And all right. So Angie's, congratulations. You just won a membership. Aaron Booby Goats, one of my moderators, just received a membership. I thought you had one already, Aaron. Oh, Spank. Did it say Spanky had a membership? I don't know. All right. And then okay, never mind. I figured out what it is. And Sharon Walker. Hey, Sharon, congratulations. Basking the Glory, and Kathleen Eckerd. Hey guys, thank you for being a part of my channel, and see how the memberships are, and we go from there. So congratulations. So let's get rid of that. Stop screen. All right.
Congratulations, everyone.
So I'm gonna actually let me just see if that was anything. So Aaron just said woohoo. Aaron. All right. So tell me what you guys think about me doing like kind of like Mitch does, but for members only. For us to be able to have people be able to come on and everything like that. That's in the but our members, little secret club, so to speak. So just tell us what you think of that, and if you think that would be good. All right. So um, I want to go to the bottom first. Get rid of that because we already did that. So Brian said to me, he goes, Thomas, Deanna said thanks for the birthday wishes. Of course, Brian. And tell her, tell her she's welcome here anytime. Um, and then there's this joke between CB and actually it was start here. Sorry about that. Okay, so Spanky goes. Brian offers free massages for everyone. LOL, kidding. And then CB answers in Spanky, free buttock cellulite removal massage joke. So that's pretty intense, CB. But okay. um, I don't know if Brian has anything to say about that, but and then Carnivore Muscle said about you with your anxiety up the asshole. So I guess he's just kind of saying like, you know, whatever, whatever that is. But I mean, sometimes I mean I get very anxious too. So I do relate to what you're saying and everything. But and I'm sure you're kind of thinking to yourself like why are we so anxious? Like these are just regular people, and but we get very anxious, and it's just the way things are. But I can see where Jonathan's coming from. But when you unless you experience it, you just don't know. You know.
Yep, and that's all I knew growing up. Like I was always the odd one out. I was always picked on. I was always the last kid picked. In gym, I was always the last one, and it's just you know I didn't think much of it over the years, but really, I mean, it's always been there, and it always will be. But I think now, just the way I'm more open, I'm more getting out, um, especially in like the communities like this. It's helped me so much. It really has. It's kind of like, as I go to more events, meet more people, like you're accepted here. Like it doesn't matter. Like Dr. Kills always says, everyone's accepted. Whatever the diet you're on, we'll accept you all in the community. And that's where I really learned of these communities. I really did.
Okay.
And something else I've learned is no matter where you are in your journey, it's never ending. It really isn't. Um, like just when you think you got everything figured out, you hit a stall or something changes. You gotta find a new puzzle piece, just like you're doing, Thomas.
Yeah.
You gotta find what's gonna work now. Like I stalled for a while and then I realized I had to cut back on the fat. And then I started losing a lot of weight, and now I'm in the gym. So now I got to figure out the next puzzle piece. Like, why are my numbers where they are? And that's been an adjustment since I've gotten taken off all my meds. That's a huge win in the story. Never really went over that again. Is I got taken off my meds about a month ago, and I'm more like nervous to eat anything now because I don't want to like go backwards. And I was in actually the Healing Humanity chat the other night, and I said, "Is it common once you're off your meds, excuse me, to see the like an increase in your blood sugars and stuff again?" And they're like, "Absolutely, because now your blood sugars, were lower before because of the meds. Now you're seeing them where they are on their own. So like, don't get discouraged if they go up." My big thing I would love to have happen is have my doctor reverse my type 2 diabetic status, because when I go to any other doctor now, if I go to the eye doctor, for example, being a diabetic, you got to be worried about your eyes. I always have to pay specialty prices for anything. So where like my kids' eye doctor's appointments are free, they don't got to pay for them with my insurance. I got to spend $100, So any doctor's appointment I do, I have to pay a specialty fee, and I really want that. And I've been researching it. And apparently, if I go through three A1C, so like a year and a half, I think they look at them by um, 3 6 months increments with an A1C of under, like, I believe it was 5.4, um, my doctor can reverse that status. So that's what my aim is. My last one was a 4.8, but that was still with the meds. My I wear a CGM now, so my numbers have been like 90s usually now, so it's definitely a little bit higher. But I'll be interested to see what happens over the next few months.
Cool. All right. All right. So I'm going to put this out because only because I just make sure she can answer in the chats. But what is this, Angela? I have no idea what this means. So if you can clarify, because I'm just kind of wondering if you were drunk when you wrote it, and I'm just not sure. You know, so and it's not like you to
Oh,
be drunk while writing texts. So
so I forgot to cover something here. So, I got off my type 2 diabetic meds, and you guys have heard about this. So I decided to get one of those CAC scores just to see how my heart is, because I wanted to get off my statin. And my CAC score came back as a 1400. I mean, you want to be in single double digits. You don't want to be anywhere above 400. So I had that, and I'm freaking out. And I did a stress test and this nuclear test, and all my stress tests came through fine. Like, there's no blockages, but they said I still have a 7% chance to die. So I may or I have a heart attack. So there's that chance. So I'm asking, like, can I get off my statin? They're like, no, 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 because that's helping you. I'm like, what exactly is the statin doing for me? Well, they're taking that soft plaque, and they're hardening it with the calcium. I'm like, well, wait a second. Isn't that calcium score the plaque that's hardened on the outside of my heart? They're like, yeah. I'm like, well, isn't the statin causing that to happen right now? They're like, well, yes. I'm like, so wait a second. You want a lower score, but the statin that you're prescribing me is going to cause it to go higher. And that just baffled the crud out of me. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. So now I'm in a whole new search. I'm looking for a doctor that's more carnivore, a cardiologist that's more carnivore friendly along this. Because I know I'm a grown adult, I can stop taking my statin if I want to. Um, but part of it's that, well, the doctors say this, even though other things say this. But man, what a messed up mindset that is. Like, they're telling me my number's too high, but they're giving me a medication that's going to cause it to increase over time.
all right, of course, of course, and their logic is baffling. It really is. All right, so let me go back here. So before I actually go on to more questions, I just want to say hello to a few people that were actually on Instagram. So we got Crazy Mary joined. We also have Fitness Beyond Time, which is Coach Mark Enos, and we have Terry B, 3333, which actually I met her in with Carrie Mann. So hello everybody. It's always good to see you all. All right, so first question of the day is from one of your guys, Jeff Foltz, from 8770. Question: what is your favorite meat?
That is a great question. If I could eat any meat, I will go with the ribeye. The ribeye is my favorite, um, hands down. Can I afford a ribeye all the time? No, I definitely cannot. So if I'm looking at affordability, I'll usually now I'll do a sirloin, um, add my own fat to it because they don't have a lot of fat to begin with. But that would be my go-to. That's usually more affordable than the ribeye for me. But if I could have one at any time, the ribeye.
All right. And then Angie says, "Me, Aaron, heaviest kid in class." This is just pretty much from what you're talking about. Some things are statements, some things are questions. Me, Aaron, heaviest kid in class. Even the teachers and bus driver bullied me. I understand completely. So somebody that's
Yeah,
sympathizing with you.
yeah.
See what that was.
I mean, and the teachers. I will say the teachers always do their best. They always did their best. But I mean, there's just
Well, when we were
it was
younger
rough.
too, it was a different
Yeah,
world, you know. Um, uh,
yeah.
uh,
And it,
Hello, everyone. How you doing? Um,
hello.
I'm not sure who Yes C1Q is, but you're welcome here, and we're glad to see you. If all right. So the next one is from Matt. When I was about 12 to 14, I went through my awkward stage. I was 180 in the eighth grade. So you are not alone, brother. So another person supporting you. You got some pretty good people there, Aaron.
Yeah, Matt's
Um,
a good guy.
Now
Matt's a good guy.
I'm not sure what Aaron's talking about. But what do you guys and dolls think about this new dude? So I'm not sure what new dude she means, unless she means you. But you've been around for at least a month now, so I'm sure there's people newer than you, even, right?
Than me, I would say so. I've been around for a while now.
Yeah.
I've only started really like getting out there more in the probably the last few months. Um, like just being more like even before, like I wouldn't, how like Dr. Kilf will occasionally like in the mornings like have people jump on. I wouldn't do that, especially like if I saw like say Dr. Kills was with Rick or something. Like you see like a normal group of people on a panel. I wouldn't feel comfortable in the past jumping in on those. Again, that anxiety, like, just we're like, oh, they're always on here together. They all like joke around and get along. I'm gonna be like the out of place person. Um, but now I'm fine. I will jump on. I don't have any uh concerns about it. I mean, hey, I'll just jump on and chat with whoever, you know, and what comes of it comes of it. I mean, you're not going to be ignored and people just talk to you. And that's really how I'm getting to know more people. Jonathan's one of them, Rick's one of them, Papa, I'm definitely getting to know people more, and it just that whole comfort. It's like every day that I do something, it's easier for me, especially in these communities. Every meetup I do, every time I meet someone new, it's just one thing after another, and it's just so it's just it's like a weight off your shoulders. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So, okay. We'll go back to this part here. Excellent. And yeah, and Erin was also. Have you seen that carnivore? Now that I got confused by because I'm like thinking she's talking about like when I saw her say about that new guy, and then she said this. I'm like, oh, is there a new channel called Carnivore Sammy? And it didn't connect to me that Sammy is also another word for sandwich. So it was actually she was showing me your channel. So I guess you made sandwiches or something like carnivore
I,
sandwiches.
I have been doing some recipes with actually I just started I learned of just Jason Keto on here. Um and he makes shuffles, and he brought up his stuffer that he just got that Kendra had talked about, and I've had one of these. I just haven't had it and used it in ages, so it got me wanting to get back into the making the shuffle sandwiches, the stuffler sandwiches. So I've been making those. I've been putting them on my recipes online on my page. I have a whole thing of recipes. So yeah, that's definitely something that I enjoy doing, and I like playing with those recipes now. And again, I don't have the greatest of cameras. I don't pay for any streaming services, so I don't get anything fancy right now. So I do the best I can with the videos, but I enjoy doing them. And yeah, I made the one that everyone seems to really like is the Italian sub uh, sandwich that I made, because I used to love my favorite when I would go to Subway was the Italian with like the pepperoni, the ham, and what else was on that one? Whatever, the Italian meats. So I made a stuffed shoffle with that, and it was really good. And those are my sandwiches on there now that I've been making. And I made some peanut butter and jelly meatballs that everyone seems to like. That was one of my more popular recipes. So yeah, I try to do stuff that I like, and keep it easy for people to find different things to eat along their journey, depending on where you are. Carnivore, keto. I cater to all needs.
Okay. All right. So we already put that in. Sometimes I forget to take out something to. All right. So we got this one thing. Hey, buddy, glad to see you. From this is from Cheeseburger Eddie. Hey, buddy, glad to see you. How is everything? Well, if you're asking me, everything is fine. If you're asking Aaron, um, again, it looks like to me like everything is fine. But
Everything's good. Everything. I have no complaints right now. I'm in a happy spot. You know, Especially in the last few months, the biggest thing that I've had to do is just kind of remove negatives from my life. That's been the biggest thing, is just, trying to keep everything positive, surround myself with positive people. When I'm at work, everyone is very supportive. Even if they do food days, people bring in junk. It's easy for me to walk past it. Um, Everyone's just really supportive. And that's huge for me, especially when I'm at work. But yeah, the less negatives you have in your life, the better.
yeah. And we got my favorite black box warning TV. We got Liz here saying that little voice is awful. So I'm sure she's talking about the little voice on top of your shoulder telling you, the devil and the angel. So yeah, that is, I definitely agree with that.
Hmm.
All right. So Booby Goats is, I was a night drinker too, helped me sleep. Yuck. Yes. I did drink alcohol at one time. I was never really that good, like I wasn't a saint, but I did, I did basically, have drinks and stuff like that, a little bit more often, so to speak. All right. This is kind of getting rid of some of these warnings. Just found out that Robin Heron is live as well. Um, so I just saw a okay. So the only complaint that Spanky has is I have right now is Jennifer Aniston is not returning my calls. Well, Spanky, you've got to be persistent. Keep on trying. I'm sure eventually she's going to return your calls with a restraining order, and you'll be fine. You'll get exactly what you
Well,
wanted.
it might be her attorney calling you. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know.
But at least she called. Aaron,
I,
I was a Friday night drunk watching wrestling. I,
I like wrestling. I'm a big wrestling fan.
it's funny though. You know darn well, Sandy. I know you're my carnivore mom, but you know that Russ would be saying that you're drunk all the time now. What are you talking about? Every Tuesday. Okay. Then Aaron also says, "LOL, good time, Sandy. Midget wrestling. That's a good time to get drunk. Watching midget wrestling. I
I've
get
been
it.
to I've been to a midget wrestling event
Yeah.
before.
How was that?
I mean, it was fine. It was entertaining. I mean, I like wrestling in general. So I've always liked watching wrestling. It was obviously you're not getting as much of the action, but they were throwing each other through glass tables and stuff. It was great. Very enjoyable.
Spanky, I loved watching wrestling in the 80s and 90s. I wasn't really much of a I'm not really sports minded, um, But I remember my grandfather used to love wrestling, and back when Hulk Hogan was wrestling and Andre the Giant, and you know, um,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I've watched wrestling my whole life. I don't even think I ever took time away from it. We actually, me and a couple of our friends, we'll go to a lot of like the local, like independent shows in our area. Those are fun. I like going to those more than spending like $300 on a ticket to go see WWE or something. Those small local shows are really cool to go to. Real cheap, you get the best seat in the house. It's fun.
well, it's funny. My cousin, well, he was more my mom's cousin. He was more like my great cousin, I guess you could say. But when they grew up, he was really skinny, like a beanpole, you know. And but when he grew up, he lifted weights and he did everything, and he ended up being one of the stand-ins for the professional wrestlers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's how big he got. But in high school, he was a beanpole. So,
You know what ruined wrestling for me was we were picking my aunt up from the airport. So this was back in the day when you could go to the airport and get back and see people out. So here we are, and wrestling was just in town. So here I am seeing the Iron Sheik and Hulk Hogan just sitting there talking to each other. I'm like, wait, don't they hate each other? I'm like, and that's why I learned wrestling was fake. Like,
right,
oh, they're really good friends. They're just having fun talking to each other. I'm like, oh gosh, this ruined
right.
it for me.
North Dakota Carnivore Lance. Hulk
Hey,
Hogan ran
Lance.
into me when when he left the ring once. He was huge in the mid '80s. Yes, and also too, I just want to let people know that look out next week because Lance is going to be my targeted guest next week. So,
Woohoo! We're watching.
and we got Keto Simple here. Look at these absolutely two awesome dudes. Thank you, Dustin. You're pretty
Hey,
awesome
Dustin.
yourself. You're pretty awesome yourself. Um,
How's it-
okay. And then we got Angie. Me too, Aaron. I gained all my weight back during after COVID, drank lots of red wine, and ate lots of pizza. Finally getting it back off. You know what? That's fine. COVID probably caused us to do a lot of things that were like caused by boredom and stuff. So it's not. Okay. So Eddie is asking, what does his diet consist of?
For
Well,
me, I'm assuming.
we'll always assume that they're talking. He's talking about you because you are the
Ah,
guest. But
So, for the most part, I eat a lot of eggs. I'll do eggs many way. Ground beef, bacon, not as much bacon anymore, but I still do eat a decent amount of bacon. I'll be honest, I do a dirty carnivore, so I'll have hot dogs, I'll have luncheon meats. Um, the meat that I buy, it just depends on what's on sale. If I can get chuck roast at a good deal, ground beef, I can get steaks, I'll do those. Um, Hamburger, a lot of times I'll make hamburgers. Snack wise, I do a lot of cheese. I still eat way too much cheese. It slows my results, but I accept that. Um, I do pork rinds. I recently added, just because I recently started going less fat, more protein. I started adding a little bit of cottage cheese in there for some additional protein. I do eat sardines. I just finishing up a sardine fast that I was doing with Brian and Amy. So I do that. I do eat my sardines. I like fancy sardines. I do a whole bunch of sardine reviews on my channel as well.
mm,
And then, I'm from Buffalo, so chicken wings and stuff like that. So it's pretty basic. A few veggies here and there, some peppers, onions, some broccoli, cauliflower occasionally. But it's mainly meat, and mainly meat, eggs and meat.
all right. So we got three things from Cheeseburger Eddie. So we'll mention them. You know. Um, so oh, he already asked that question, so we can eliminate that part. All right. So he's just pretty much saying, Thomas, you should shave your head like Aaron. Is your head totally shaved, or is it
I
just
I mean
like you
I
have
got
some
it like
hairs, right?
straight. Well, I've just been lazy, and normally it's completely shaved. Yes, I've
Oh,
just been lazy lately. During
Yeah,
the winter
I mean,
time, I let
I
it go
think
a little
it
bit.
depends. Like, it's just not me, Like maybe down the road, but but I think it looks good on you, It
I'll
probably
do
would
like
look good
the
on me.
Picard. I do the
And
Picard look. I get like the around here, but I don't pull it off like Patrick Stewart does. So I
well,
don't
I'm
do it.
actually I was actually totally like right here was totally bald, so I was thinking about it, but now I'm growing hairs, so like I don't know what that's from, but I'm kind of curious and kind of want to like just leave it be and just
Well,
test it out.
you could pull the Dustin look, get the beard going, and get the shaved head.
Right? Yeah, I could do
Just
that.
saying. Just
I
saying.
could
It's not an issue.
I could do that, but I don't want to. Leave me alone, for God's sakes. Okay.
I
um,
want this hair, damn it.
I don't want to shave my head. Stop it. Um, yeah, no. But I don't know if Eddie Cheeseburger Eddie had known, but I shave my beard a lot. So, and I grow it back a lot. So, give it some time, and you'll see me with a shave. I think even Aaron can attest that I shaved my beard. So,
I just get lazy. Like I don't I'll get itchy and then I just shave it. But when we were trying to get pregnant, the first time I told my friend, I'm like, my wife can't stand it when I have a beard. So I'm like, well, when we get pregnant, I'll shave my beard. So I would trim it all the time. So I told my coworker, I'm like, hey, I'm growing my beard out, but you'll know when we're pregnant because I'm going to shave it at that point. So the one day I'm just trimming it up and I just do a horrible job. I'm like, forget it, I'm just clearing it off. So I go to work the next day. It's like, oh my God, congratulations. Like, oh, no, 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 no. I didn't mean to do it. Sorry. Not to get your hopes up. Brisket.
okay.
Brisket.
Brisket Boomers, Amy, who's going to the meetup in Boston next weekend? I'm going virtually, Amy. I would not be able to make it. Not enough funds, but I don't see why I can't open up my computer and go with Mitch on the virtual. So as long as I don't think I'm working next week, so I should be able to go. Um,
I've only watched actually in all the times I go online, I've only gone in Mitch's chat or 7 o'clock only a couple of times. A because that's when I start work, so it's kind of tough when I start work to jump in and pay
okay.
attention to any chats. But I do like Dr. Kilton 6 because that's I'm just waking up, I'm getting ready, I can listen to him.
And Rick, it's actually being conducted by Barry Simon and Danny from Boston. So yeah, I thought you actually knew about it, to tell you the truth. Oh, look at that! The weather thing worked. Wow. All right, Spanky. The weather is sunny with a temperature. Well, that's pretty nice. 73 degrees. The wind is blowing from the southeast at 7 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 45%. That's not bad.
Where is Vulcan, Canada, Spanky? Where is that?
And Aaron, Nashville conditions are fair with temperatures of 98. Oh, 98
Oh,
degrees is fair. The wind is blowing from the west at 7 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 37%. So at least the humidity is a little bit better, but still.
I'm
Uh,
at 76 degrees where I live.
I'm not sure what let me look. I'm like, I don't know what I am. And I just realized I could just look. All right. It's 80 degrees here. So not as bad as Aaron, but all right. So uh, here's after, which I actually met the other day, and she just recently subscribed to my channel. I just recently subscribed to hers, and I invited her to come on as a guest. So whenever that is, hopefully she'll be on at some point. But that was awesome to have that type of discipline and didn't feed into food addiction. That is awesome. So I'm guessing she's complimenting you because
Well,
I have no discipline. My discipline
well,
is what would who would kill me if um if I did this. And so I just fear is my discipline. Um so Roxanne, you look good for your age. You're 93, you look very good for your age.
wow.
Unless you're talking about something else. I don't know. So but it's always good to see you in the chats. Oh, let me go back to shared. Excuse me if I say bad jokes, but it's part of my job as an uncle. I get paid to, even when they don't hear it. I have to say the bad jokes. So Aaron, I can't eat chicken after the R and Y have to chuck it up.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
what does R and Y stand for?
So
I
she had the bypass surgery as well.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's just what they call it. So I can eat like chicken thighs. I can eat like the dark meat chicken, juicy chicken. I can do chicken wings. Chicken breast has to be cooked perfect. And so the moment a piece of chicken is overcooked, it just sits in my stomach and I can't. Like I literally I could eat a whole steak, but if I have a little piece of chicken that's too dry, it just like makes me sick. And it's very annoying. But yeah, that's I've heard of some people that have that with chicken after the surgery. If you don't mind me, I'm actually what I'm going to start doing on my channel, and I'm doing this with Brian on Thursday night. We've obviously all heard Brian's story over and over again, and we're not sick of it, Brian. He has great results. He is an inspiration. But I'm actually starting an interview series of people like myself and Brian, of people who had gastric bypass surgery, weight loss surgery, or even considering it. And just to kind of tell the story from a different point of view. And, for people that may want to do carnivore or keto, but are nervous because they've had the surgery. So we're just going to kind of talk about life after the surgery, how it's impacted us. And because we obviously cannot eat as much as someone who hasn't had the surgery. I can eat more probably because my stomach's expanded over time, but I could never enter a food eating contest by no means. I will never be a Nathan's hot dog winner. Maybe I could enter a sardine eating challenge that might work. Maybe I can, Beard versus Food. Beard versus Food, right? Or Randy Santel, those guys.
Yes.
Maybe
Yes.
maybe I can do a sardine challenge.
Okay. All right. So let's put that up there. So yeah, I just put it up, but I'll put it up again. So Brian, what are you talking about in interview? LOL.
Can I share a picture on here, even though I don't pay for StreamYard? Can I share a picture? Is
Just
there
send
a
it to me
way?
and I'll share it.
Brian, do you want to see a picture get posted, Brian? Because I have the. Well, you know what? I don't even have to do that. I can just hold it up like this and put it on my camera just like that.
You could.
I
You
could
could.
do that, Brian. I'm behaving, Brian. I'm behaving. I'm not. I think I've shown Amy the picture, and I think I showed Kelly the picture at the meetup in Indy. Kelly, real nice guy. Got to meet his daughter too. Spent a lot of time talking to him. Great guy, great guy. He's having his surgery coming up in a couple of weeks, so wish him the well with his surgery.
Aaron, Brian says, Thomas, you don't need to get wrapped up into this. He's going to have enough problems when he gets a hold of him, when I get a hold of him. Okay. Well, whatever my guest wants to do, as long as it's not illegal, you know.
I mean,
So,
you've had people on your haven't you had people on your show without shirts on before last week? Wasn't that Meathead or something, or was that someone else you saw? Who I
oh,
saw?
Meathead's always on people's channels without shirts, so
Oh,
that's
okay. So that's his thing. Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's and everybody thinks he's naked because you can't see his pants. You know. So I'm going to go back to the last again. So Horizon Carnivore, Kelly, and again, Kelly spells her name the same exact way as my niece does. So, um, but that's neither here nor there. I just figured I'd mention that. So I ask this question to all interviewed guests around Carnivore. I hate eating fat. Makes me gag. Is this because of the RNY?
That's a really good question, and I think that would actually be something I would like to go over in my interviews because I can eat fat and I'm fine with it. Um, but it depends on the fat as well. Like some steaks I can't, and some steaks I can. It depends how it's been rendered and cooked down. Um, it is possible because if I do too much fat, I get sick. But like I'm not gagging, I'm going the other way. Um, but I don't know if it would necessarily be because of the RNY, to be honest. I've never had a gagging reflex myself. It could just be that you don't like the fat. Could you eat it before, Kelly, without a problem, or did you not really ever try, to be honest? Um, I think that might be more of an individual thing, to be honest. I'll ask Brian that question. Well, Brian's in here. Brian, do you have any problem eating the fat? But that's a good question. I I don't know. I I used to not eat the fat because I didn't like it, to be honest.
Okay, and then she says that I never purposely tried before RNY.
Okay. Yeah.
And Brian,
So if you,
Brian says no.
okay, so it just might be you just don't like the fat, which is fine.
Not everybody does. Some people find the texture to be like,
Yeah, like when I what did I make the other night? I must say it was when I did was it a New York strip I did? I had in the freezer and I cooked it, and the fat was just like that perfect texture. It wasn't chewy. It wasn't. It was kind of like the melt in your mouth fat texture. But you know what I'm talking about when you get that like perfect piece of fat that just kind of like just dissolves in your mouth and just goes down.
oh yeah, like it just melts
Yeah,
in there.
yeah. So I on the same steak, I had the fat that did that, but then I also had fat that no, I couldn't like I chewed it, I couldn't swallow it, spit it out. Um, so I suppose it does depend on the fat itself. But some people just don't eat it, honestly. I usually don't unless it's like that perfect like texture in my mouth. Otherwise I just can't swallow it and I just I'll add more fat elsewhere if I need it. So I just think it's you just don't like it, which is fine.
Oh, excuse me. So okay, so we got the weather doing a couple more people. I forget who these are for though. I had it in there, but then I just saved the three people. But it looks like in Tuscan, conditions are sunny with a temperature of 100 and wow, 101 degrees Fahrenheit. The wind is blowing from the west southwest at 3 miles per hour, and current humidity is 18%. So humidity is a little bit better, but 101 degrees. Wow, that's hot.
I
Um,
mean, I was in when I visited my aunt and uncle as kids, we were in Dallas and it got every day the high outside was probably 105 or more. And I'm there just as a kid. They're taking me to the amusement park, the baseball games. They're like, if you weren't here, we wouldn't be going anywhere right now because no one wants to go out in this weather. And I did not like that heat. I did not. I would be happy with 73 degrees all year round. I would take that. I don't need 90 degrees, but if I could get 70 all year round and skip the snow in the winter, I would take it 100%.
okay, and then the weather in Tempe is partly cloudy with a temperature of 105. Holy God. Does it get higher for the third one? No, it doesn't. Okay. With 105, and the wind is blowing from west southwest at 6 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 18% again. Wow. Okay.
So how does the breeze, like, does the breeze even feel refreshing when it's 100 degrees outside? Like, does it even feel good? You
I
know?
I would have to say no to that question. I wouldn't. At least I would have to say I wouldn't think it would. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's just that.
Okay. So Nikki missed that last. I was on Thomas's show with no shirt. I think we'd remember that, Nikki. Um, you know, just saying. But all right.
No one wants to see
And
this without a shirt
she
on.
says later. She says later on that she was just kidding. So, in case no one knew that.
I
Okay.
definitely would not be doing no shirt on someone's show.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Yeah. You would not want to see me without a shirt on. Weather for Danville conditions are partly cloudy with a temperature of 90 degrees, and the wind is blowing from the north northeast 3 miles per hour. The current humidity is 56 degrees. I think this was Angela Mullins that put this one out. I think. I could be wrong. I think she put one of them out. I just don't know. Like I said, I forgot. I should have like put in who it was or just done it right away. Um,
Okay.
okay. So Spanky wanted to put this important message. Hey Mickey, you're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey Mickey. Hey Mickey. Okay, how many of you sang this reading it? LOL. You got us, Spanky. You got us. All right, let's go back to the top. All right. So Linda, Aaron, I can't eat chicken after R and Y. Oh, Linda already said that. Okay.
Yep. Hmm. So she's in the same boat as me.
This is why you have to get rid of it. Um, and Brian's saying to make my members meeting shirtless. Okay.
I mean, they're your rules. I mean, if you want everyone to be shirtless,
Well,
that's
I'm
fine.
sure I have to go within the confines of YouTube, but yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah. Then when Thomas's channel goes away, now that time we'll know why it goes away. Aaron Booby goes, she went shirtless. You've lost your channel.
All right. Um, and question, Aaron, are you taking the coaching course? Well,
I
duh.
did.
He
I
just
did the. Yep. I completed the Kills coaching course, and now I am slowly putting things together. I get jealous when I see people like who can start an LLC really cheap. In New York, it is not a cheap process. It's
yeah,
like $200 for an LLC. Then you got to do the 2 weeks in the paper, which is probably another 80 to $100. So, I'm just doing things as I can. All the different services you want to use, all those little memberships add up. And as much as I want to like start it sooner than later, I have to look at the cost, versus what am I going to get back from it. I can't be spending, $2,000 this year to start everything up, do everything like the proper way, and then, hey, you made $200. Financially, it's got to make sense. But I actually am working with a couple of my friends have reached out to me with my success, so I'm just kind of helping them along the way. Not to call them my guinea pigs, so to say, but to kind of just do it like, hey, let's try a few things, see how it goes, and go from there. But yeah, I'm definitely I definitely want to do that, and
yeah,
I want to help others. I wanna the biggest thing that I've learned is you can't push people, you can't force it, and I'm learning that with like my household. you know I can't force what I do upon people. um I would hope they see the light, like, hey, look what I've done. I've reversed my diabetes, I'm off my meds, I have more energy, I can do stuff that I never did before. I feel better now in my 48th year of life than I did when I was 18. um you know and it's like not like it's like you're trying to pull teeth, especially with like those closest to you. As sad as it is, it's like, I put it in my most recent video that I put. In this journey, whether you're starting out, you're doing it a long time, some of your biggest hurdles and obstacles are going to be those closest to you. Bringing temptation into the house, having all that there. And I would love for like my family to say, you know what, we're going to do this with you, and not necessarily carnivore or even close. Like, let me do keto, just cut down the carbs. If I could get them to give up the breads, the pasta, that stuff, and then get my wife to give up those sugary coffee creamers, I just know they would feel so much better. They'd have so much more energy. And, part of the reason why I do this is like, I don't, and my kids aren't there by no means. You know, I didn't want my kids to have the same struggles that I had. I didn't want them to be the overweight kid in class. I didn't want them to be the biggest kid in class. Um, and that was really one of my biggest reasons for doing this. And my son's kind of the kind of, he was like my brother growing up. He could eat anything, and he's not gonna gain a pound. He could eat cookies and Oreos all day, all night, and he would be perfectly fine. He'd be 100 pounds soaking wet. My daughter, she, you know, gains, loses, and now that she does eat a little bit healthier, like she even feels better. But if I could get rid of some of those big staples for them, it would be huge. But I've learned you can't force it, you can't push it, you just can't, and you have to get by and get through. And someday, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
I've said before, like, why I don't really do any coaching. I mean, I do have, I was one of the first people that got my coach certification course. I don't know if you knew that or not, but
I did not.
yes, I'm actually certified. I was one of the first people to graduate, and it dawned on me the other day, and it's a stupid reason, but it was, I think it's always been there. You ever have like where you kind of know something in your brain, but you just don't know, you just can't recognize it. I think
Hmm.
what it is I get so much support and I get so much advice from people. I'm a firm believer that if I hire somebody to do something, I expect them to be the ones to do it. So, like if I like go and I have a private chef, well, I expect that private chef to cook for me. I don't expect like 20 other people to cook for me, you know? So why do I why I mean, this is just me personally. I think that we do need coaches and everything like that, but in my opinion, everyone's my coach. Everyone gives me the advice. So why would I pay for one? Like if I was to pay for a coach, I would expect that coach to be the one who gives me advice, and that's it. And it's a silly thing to say, but I think that's why I don't really become a coach because like when I'm ready, I'll do it. But right now, at least I have, um, you know. And hello, Peter. I see you're either at break or you're off of work.
Hey, Papa.
And I just invited. Peter's going to be most likely. He has some pretty good. He can put it on the chats if he wants to, but you know, he may or may not be coming in 2 weeks next on Wednesday. So okay, cool. Um, and Pop
What
said
I've
he's working until 8. So okay.
Something that I've noticed in just people that I've talked to, it's not necessarily about the coaching. People want the accountability. Um, I find that in a few people that I've talked to, it's not necessarily that they don't know what to do, or it's not like they can't find the information online. They want someone to be accountable for. And
Yeah.
that was kind of like why I started my channel, to be accountable to myself. Like I said at the very beginning, no one may watch my channel. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll become a YouTube millionaire. Maybe I won't. I'm definitely not going to become a YouTube millionaire. That much I can say for certain.
Well,
Um,
sure.
but but it's like, that's just something that people need. And even when I start doing the coaching, like I used to look for health coaches a while ago in my area, and they charge arms and a leg, like
Yeah, they
just a
do.
ridiculous amount. And my thing is,
And
I
that
want
needs
to
the
help
right
people.
information.
Exactly. And I want to help people. And obviously our time is worth something. Like, I wish I could just do it all for free and give up my free time. But obviously we can't. But I'm also not going to be someone who's going to charge people an arm and a leg. I'm going to, you know, I'm I want to help people that were like me, looking for help, who couldn't get help maybe when I couldn't find what I wanted online. So I want to help just the average person. Like, you know what? I may or may not have a set amount of money I charge. I might work with you. Depending, where it goes. But I want to just be able to do it for people just to help them succeed and feel better and just experience all that I've experienced, to be honest.
Okay. All right. So Angie says this to me about Thomas above 95 degrees. You do it, get a wind chill. The temperature actually feels warmer. We learned that in motorcycle classes. Cool. Um, and Cranky, John, how you doing, John? The most beneficial, life-changing thing I learned as a member of the PhD community is that it's none of my business what others people think of me. That's that's very poetic. Um, and Aaron is going swimming. So, with how hot your town is, I would go swimming too. Um,
I'll be walking around shirtless.
and CB is mentioning Jonathan had the comment up the ass after my buttocks comment. Perfect timing. Yes, I'm sure that was Jonathan's reason. Um, no, I mean I think let me. I think coaching is a great idea. I would never have studied to become a coach. I just don't think I'm ready to become a coach yet. I just don't feel it. Even though people say I would be good at it, I just, I think I will be eventually. Don't get me wrong, but got another member here, Texas. It's from your channel, Texas Plug
Yes.
Riches. Hello,
Welcome.
Plug Riches. Um, I just don't think I am ready to go through all that work, you know, for it. It's probably more of a patience thing than anything. Um, but I think I will be eventually. I think I definitely will be what once I get my A1C where I want it to be and everything. And I'm my insulin out and all that stuff, and I'm pretty close. Holy smokes, Batman! Love Batman, but not good on the lore. You have a very relatable story for each of us in some way. Keep sharing. We can learn on one another, or we can lean on one another. Okay.
Yep.
Very, very good. And
Yep. And
then
we're all here for each other.
Kelly mentions, I have gone from 7 meds to 3. Can't wait until I can be down to none like you all. Um, it takes it sometimes it can take time, but yeah, I agree.
And
Um,
I will say each time that I fell, like I said, I got back up. But the one thing that sucks is when I fall each time, it takes me longer to get back. Um, like to get where I am now, it took me a lot longer from when I started doing the carnivore journey last year. I mean, what, August, end of July is when I got off my meds. So when it's what, almost a year, not quite a year and 4 months or so later that I
yeah,
got off my meds. The first time I did keto, when I got like that really strict, when that doctor told me I didn't take my life seriously, I was off all my meds within probably 3 months. And that was just doing keto. That wasn't even going carnivore. That was going keto and not even really much exercise, just literally keeping my carbs under 20. I was eating a lot of veggies. Um, so that was part of like mentally going with me. Like I wasn't losing the weight as quick, which was probably good on this go around, and my meds weren't coming down as quickly, um, which is probably again good. But I just found that interesting. Like when I went even less carbs, I wasn't getting the results right away where I wanted it.
okay. So I just checked on Instagram, and we have another person that just joined us on Instagram. We have John Carnivore Cutter. So John is actually both on YouTube and Instagram. So
You know, I have an Instagram and I really haven't used much of it. I don't really know how to even do much with Instagram. I'm kind of bad with this kind of stuff. Like I was talking to Lance today when he was doing his live. I'm like, I don't even know what Rumble is. Like I know YouTube, I know
I know what
Facebook, I
Rumble
know
is. Just it's not easy to work with. At least I
yeah.
haven't found it to be that easy.
I don't know how to do anything with Instagram. I have stuff on Instagram that I have no clue was even there. So I have no clue.
Well, I mean,
I
I'll be
gotta
honest with
learn.
you. I would rather be on Facebook.
Okay.
Only because I noticed that Facebook does link with StreamYard, and I can see what's on without having to go back and forth. Like in order for me to watch Instagram, I have to tab onto it and see who's. I can go back and forth. You
See,
guys don't see me doing it, but that's pretty much what I have to
I
do.
have to I don't do the paid version of StreamYard because I'm deciding like which of these services are going to be best for me ultimately. But like I can only stream doing the free version to one service. So I do my YouTube. I can't do Facebook and YouTube at the same time.
Well, the only
So
reason why I don't do Facebook though is because um, in order to do like I had to start a whole new channel, a whole new page for the channel in order to do any lives, and you have to have 1,000 followers. It looks like before you can even do the live. So if I just started out, that's going to take me a while to get 1,000 followers. So I have quite a few, but nowhere near 1,000. So I have to figure out how to advertise to get more followers onto the Facebook page. Um,
yeah.
which is fine. So for right now, I do Instagram, but once I can get Facebook, I probably will switch over to Facebook, and maybe still do Instagram too. Do all three. I don't know yet. Um, so go back to all right. So Aaron, are you taking the coaching course? Well, yes,
Yes.
we
Yep.
already established that.
Yep.
Um,
I completed it.
Sometimes
Uh,
questions get asked more than once, so. All right.
yeah, that's
So,
fine.
Sandy, my high school teacher gently pounded me on the head and said, "You're so pretty to be so dumb." See, told you. There was a time when teachers they were just as dumb as the kids. No offense, but. And then Angie says the same thing. My first day of kindergarten, no one would let me sit with them on the ride to school. I was made to stand in the aisle while the bus driver yelled at me. I was 5 years old. Yeah. I mean, I'm guessing he yelled at you because it's pretty unsafe probably to be standing in the middle of the bus while it's driving. But instead of yelling at the other kids to let you sit down, I remember my mom used to tell me a story how these boys would actually pull her pigtails when she was like 8, and instead of the teacher yelling at the boys, the teacher would yell at her and put her in the corner for yelling.
Oh.
It was like
Oh,
it's just the way
there,
it's the way it was back then. It's
you know,
unfortunate.
there was one time. I'll put this out in the chat. Let's see if anyone
Don't
could
tell me
maybe
somebody pulled
guess.
your pigtails.
No, no. But
Okay.
there was one time every year I was the first kid picked in gym class for something. I won't say what. Let's see if anyone could guess it in the chat. There was one thing we did in school every year I was always picked first for. Anyone have a guess? It was the only time I was ever picked first for one thing we did in school. And it was not a food eating contest. We did not do food eating contests.
Tug
It
of
was
war.
related. Bingo.
I didn't guess. Lance did.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Definitely not Brian climbing the rope. Nope, nope, not even goalie. I wasn't picked. I was not picked for goalie, Kelly. But nope, tug of war. That was the only time I was ever picked first.
So
Mhm.
that tells me that Lance just pretty much already knew it because he was the first one to guess it, and he gets it right
No,
on the spot. Oh, okay.
I don't think I've ever even brought that up anymore. I
Then
may
maybe
have.
maybe,
Maybe I
maybe
did.
Lance read your mind.
Yeah. Well, the fat kid in class, the heavy kid, you put him at the end of the anchor of the tug of war, it's going to make it tough.
That's true. That's
And we usually did well because I was pretty strong too, even though I was overweight. But when my team wasn't helping me, it was just like, come on, someone do something for me here. I need some help.
yeah.
You would think football, but in school, you didn't really play with an offense or defensive line too much, in like gym class and stuff. Um, I did play football in high school. As I moved up in the years of schooling, it got better, of course. When you're moving up in high school, you still weren't always, I was, still the last pick for most things, but you know, it seemed to be people were the most cruel, I would say, in middle school. And like maybe like I know everyone's school years go different, elementary to middle school. I would say like third to seventh grade was the worst part ever, I would say, for me. That was the worst. College, everyone was accepted. Um, but those were the worst years.
Yeah. All right. So this is a question from Spanky to everyone, not just you and me, but to everyone. And then also read the two answers that were given to him from two of the people. So Spanky asks, okay, people, what was your go to slow dance song to dance to in high school? Mine was Open Arms by Journey. Jason's was Stairway to Heaven. And Brian's was Amarillo by Morning George Strait. I don't remember what the song was for me. I guess I danced to anything. But what about you, Aaron?
Well, I mean, again, I was the big kid, so I didn't really have too many dancing partners. But my prom was "Killing Me Softly." Was what I remember with my date that night. Killing me softly with his mouth. Killing me softly. I can't remember who sings that now. I'm horrible. I have friends that can they hear like one word of a song and they just can crush it.
Yeah,
I'm
I know
horrible
the
with
song, but I can't think who sings it either.
someone will tell us in a minute.
But um, I forget. How old are you again?
I'm 48.
Okay, so you're a few years younger than I am then. Okay.
Yep, I'll be 49 in a couple of months.
Well, my
Coincidentally,
sister just turned about a couple months ago. She just turned, or a few months ago, she just turned 51. So,
uh, so this will be really a kicker. So obviously, as I said, I was always the biggest kid in class. I was always overweight. When I was born, I was severely underweight. My mom didn't even get to hold me at my birth. I had to be rushed to Children's Hospital, which is by us. So we were at just like one hospital when she gave birth. But because I was so underweight and I had a blood count issue, she couldn't even hold me. I had to be rushed to our local Children's Hospital. So kind of coincidental that I was so underweight born that I became a heavy person going after that.
uh,
Maybe I was overcompensating.
so, curiosity, Kelly, how old are you? I can ask that because it's my channel. So, and you already said we're all babes. So,
And Kelly, if you need an accountability partner, I'm here for you. Reach out to me.
we're all here for each other, right? So, yeah,
Darn,
reach out to Aaron.
darn skippy. The Fugees.
Over 50. Okay. Well, I don't know if you know this, Kelly, but I'm going to be 54 in September. So,
Thomas, a question I like to ask in my chat to keep people entertained is on occasion, I will ask if all your favorite creators were on live at once, which one would you pick to watch live? You can't have more than one device. You can only watch one live. Who would it be? You can watch the replays later, but you could only choose one of them to watch live at that moment. Who would it be?
um,
That's
I
tough,
mean,
isn't it?
there's a lot of people out there.
Hmm. Yeah. And there's a lot that we all go to on a regular basis. Like I do my Forgiveness Monday videos, which I've changed the name of. But I never want to step on anyone else's toes. So it's like I don't want to do a time when I know someone else is on, or something like that. Like I don't want to steal from anyone else because I know a lot of us share the same people. But who would you watch live? That is a great
Is
question.
it an unlimited amount of people, or is it still
No,
the?
no, you know, they're all your channels are there, but everyone's live. You can only pick one to watch live at that moment.
Oh,
You
only
can
one
watch anyone,
channel. Okay.
only one of your channels, but all of your channels that you love going to, your favorites, they're all on at the same time.
Okay, that's
Which
what I mean. Like,
one would you want? Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, in that case, I guess it wouldn't really matter the platform, you know. But I wouldn't mind. I know it sounds crazy, but I wouldn't mind seeing like almost like in a round table like we do here. And I think on your channel too, and on Lance's channel and stuff like that, and most of our channels, or Mitch's even. I wouldn't mind seeing a like a round table of all the carnivore doctors all talking, like in a big forum. I think that that would be kind of cool. Like,
I
like
mean, that would,
Elizabeth
yeah.
Bright, Dr. Avelia, Dr. Kiltz, Dr. Nelson, all the doctors that are part of the carnivore community, and just seeing everybody, Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee, Dr. Barry, like everybody.
Oh,
Just
that would be the perfect one live. But if they're all on their own individual lives, you can only pick one.
well, that's. I mean, maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying because I meant like like pick a show and everybody join in on that one live, like almost
Oh,
like
if
a round.
everyone's on that one, well, then
Yeah,
yeah, then you would choose that live, of course. So,
right. Like I mean, I guess you could have like a host like that's kind of like emceeing the the whole thing, and that could be anybody, but I wouldn't mind seeing like a forum of the doctors, basically. I probably would even include Jordan Peterson in that count. Because he's pretty big in his own account. And Dr. Boz and just like of all the doctors just together, just having this great big forum.
that'd be
Like,
cool.
almost like a medical think tank for carnivores. That'd be I think that'd be kind of cool. I think a lot of people would definitely. I think you'd be like in the hundreds of viewers and stuff like that.
Oh, I could imagine that would be thousands of viewers,
Yeah,
easily. It would
yeah,
break YouTube.
yeah, yeah. That's a good question. You know what, Rick? Jonathan, yeah, I mean, he can be included. That'd be a good thing. Rick says about Jonathan Carnivore Muscle. I mean, in a way, he's a professional. So, yeah, I mean, I think he would be pretty good in that kind of think tank. I definitely. Um,
I saw Jonathan. I went to his Instagram page because I reached out to him. I saw him just from like one of his shows. Like, oh man, that dude he is ripped. And just watching his story is amazing.
yeah. Jonathan's really, he is pretty amazing. I do not doubt that. I do not deny that.
Yeah,
Okay, so Spanky is asking, what is everyone's ages? I am 61. Well,
40. I'm still 48.
I'm still 53 until September 20th. So, um,
You know, I understand because people ask similar questions and they don't always see the answer. So I get why those questions come up more than once.
yeah.
Now
And
for
plus,
me,
too, I
my
mean, people forget
yeah.
too. It's like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
well, you know,
I see for me for the channels, like as much as I like them, I would go back to Carnivore Quest with Larry just because that was like why I started my channel. So you kind of I always remember where I came from. So that's my reasoning behind where I would watch the live. But man, that idea of like having like that ultimate like forum, that would be really amazing. I mean, I thought watching Dr. Kiltz and Dr. Barry together was great. But you throw in a bunch of them, and I just don't know how that would. I think it would just maybe be too many at once. Maybe a good 4 or 5 at a time would be nice. That's what I.
yeah. Um, we go back to. I had to leave for 1 second.
Yeah,
Uh,
you're fine.
CB says I turned 46, August 20th. You're actually the same day as my brother-in-law, CB. He's a little bit older than you, but you're the same day as my brother-in-law. Um, and Carnivore Wayne says he loves Grandma's Crochet Corner. I mean, the thing is, I love all these things too, but um, I'm just thinking like a doctor forum would be really interesting, you know. But because we
I
sort of
agree.
have like regular people normally, like, you know, like people here and there, like us regulars are always doing something. So we're always kind of together, or, you know,
So
there's
would
been
the
me. Oh, you're
uh,
a baby, Kelly.
you know the one thing about the doctor forum, like I love that idea, but I think it would become a monetized type thing, kind of like going to like
Oh, of
Keto
course it would. Yeah.
Palooza, like I'm
I'm
like
just saying, like,
definitely yeah.
like I wouldn't mind seeing that format, but
Oh yeah.
um, you know, like good thing about, I mean, this is actually a good thing. I mean, good thing like Rick and Jonathan. You know, obviously after today, you know, we know that there's going to be times that they're going to be on together more than just once. So it's cool, you know, but I don't have to, like, it's not a special thing, you know. It's like, you know, like I'll be able to see it every Saturday, which is so beneficial to me. Um,
Yeah, I jumped in and was
no,
watching
I
that
think
today
Carrie
because I
Girl
work.
came in a little bit late because she's saying doctors are way too bored to be on here. This place is for the bored people. Um, so I don't know if Aaron, if you want to re-ask the question, because I don't think.
So Terry, what I ask on my channel occasionally is if all your favorite YouTube creators were on at the same time. Thomas was on, I was on, Grandma was on, everyone was on at the same time. You could only watch one of them live at that time. Which channel would you watch live?
Oh, now I get it now too. I
Yes.
apologize.
Now you're fine.
Yeah, I'm thinking like, okay, you know, like as many channels as you want, and they're all like on one live. You know, um,
I
yeah,
figured I wasn't going to say anything.
that's that's hard. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not
um,
easy.
that's hard. Who would I
Right?
steer towards? Well, if I'm
So
the
Gar,
if I'm one of the people on live, obviously I'm going to watch myself. But um, that's a no
ooh,
brainer. But
yeah, well, yeah,
that's, that's like voting for yourself in an election, and voting for the other guy instead of yourself. You know, it's obviously going to vote for yourself. But
yeah.
hmm.
I think Grandma's got the lead so far. I think Grandma's definitely. I
I
think she.
I I think, yeah, I think the two that probably would pop up. Well, I do find myself going over to Aaron whenever Mitch or Kilts is on. It's not that I don't like Kilts or Mitch. It's just when it's her turn, I turn off Mitch and I go over to Aaron. Don't tell Mitch I said that. And so Aaron probably be the tops if it was between the three of them.
Thomas is going down.
um, yeah, he might even have heard it. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, I go over to Aaron too."
Yeah,
um,
Mitch, like I said, I've been in his channel twice.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
it.
I guess I would just piggyback on all of them, like a few minutes here, a few minutes there, a few minutes here, because I mean, unfortunately, that's actually happened many times where there's more than one, you know,
Oh
and
yeah. And
like
that's what made me think of the question is because like I want to do my lives, but like I always try. Like I know on Monday and Tuesday, Lance goes on at 7 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm like, well, I don't want to do a live then because he's going to take people from me or I take people from him, and that's not what this is about. People about sharing their experiences and just helping others, and it's trying to find the time. Like I've been with the interview I'm doing with Brian this week. I'm like, well, let me find a day and a time that's not too busy. I'm like, well, Wednesdays are pretty darn busy on YouTube. Tuesdays aren't too much. Then I'm like looking at Thursday. I'm like, Thursday 6 o'clock doesn't seem too bad. So I think we're gonna do Thursday at 6 o'clock and hope for the best.
yeah, I mean, Grandma, like okay, yeah, because sometimes I'll be like on with Bob, and Bob probably knows this already, and I'll be like, yeah, I gotta get going, and half the time it's because I am tired, but I will always make sure I go over to Grandma's channel and sometimes go on the panel and say hello. And I stay for longer than I expected. Um, Carnivore Junkie says Rick's live. Yeah, I'll also go check out Rick. The good thing about Rick though is he's on for at least 4 hours, so I can miss a little bit of Rick and still be there and just go from there. Um,
Oh, Brian, Brian, do you see that little corner, Brian? Oh, couldn't go. Oh, Brian, I
oh,
put
look
it
at that!
closer. I have it, Brian.
And I just got a notification from this carnivore-ish guy.
Yeah.
This is why I take my health seriously. Okay, we'll have to watch that. Is it a short?
Is it short?
The is it a short that you put out?
Uh, I can't remember. No, it shouldn't have been a short.
Well, it's in a short
Wait,
form.
when did I say I put it out? I haven't put anything out today.
Do you want me to show it?
Where did I? This is why I take my life seriously. Did I do it? Or did something post as a short?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to show it for you? I can show
Hold
it.
on one sec. I'm just trying to see what I did that would have been. What is it? Because I don't have anything in. This is my life.
Let me show it. And, all right. Are you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I know what that is. It that did my I jumped on the other morning and I just went live from it. It's like 30 seconds. I don't even know how that happened, to be honest. I think it labeled it like YouTube did something. And that was actually, I think that's just about um Papa. I look like like going to jail there. That's horrible. Take that off. It looks like a mugshot, dude. Turn that off. But yeah, no. I the other morning I went live when Dr. Kiltz wasn't on,
Oh, that's
and I was
funny.
getting I was getting frustrated with my number, so I just jumped on that morning for a little bit, and so it loaded, but then it loaded this like 30-second like cutout. I have no clue how that even happened. That's how little I know about this. And it labeled it. That's why I take my life seriously. Um, I don't. I didn't set any of that up. I have no clue how that thing actually generated. Does it? If you go like live on YouTube, does it automatically create a short out of it?
It shouldn't.
I don't know unless I hit something that I didn't realize. I
That
mean, it's
that
only got 100. Yeah, maybe I did something I didn't mean to do. But
I mean, I
yeah.
never. I mean, do you do your lives usually from YouTube? Is that
No. I just did it like it was a spur of the moment thing. I'll do my lives through StreamYard. Um, But no, that was just a pure spur of the moment. So I didn't load it on StreamYard. I just went live on YouTube. That was all I did for that. Like I said, it was a real no plan to do that morning. And interesting. Like that's why I couldn't think of the name because I didn't actually name it.
Terry Sue? We all are. Um, it does something. Sometimes I think I have trouble understanding all that YouTube weirdness. We all have trouble understanding the YouTube weirdness. That's
100%.
yeah. And just to mention again, for the buy me a coffee, and Aaron has a buy me a coffee as well. So, all right.
Brian started to tempt fate here. I don't know. That might have to go. I might have to show that full picture if Brian keeps up this nonsense.
So I'm ignoring Brian. Just kidding. Oh,
I tried to ignore Brian, but he just kept saying hi, 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 hi. But hey, if I would have ignored Brian, I wouldn't be as comfortable as I am now doing what I do, to be
yeah.
honest. I
Yeah, well,
wouldn't be.
Brian's um I don't think there's any word for Brian, but he's definitely miraculous.
And I do think he's lying about his age. I don't think he's 60. I think he's just doing that to draw attention, trying to make it sound like I think he's like 48, 49.
Well, I mean, I tell people I'm 96, but for some reason, no one believes me. I don't know why.
No one believes me when I tell them my age either. They think I'm younger. I don't see it,
It's
but hey,
it's
I'll take it.
it's the carnivore. It's the carnivore.
Yeah.
You know, I would make myself a little taller. Okay. All right. So I pretty much got all the questions and statements in. Um, I had a good time today. I
Oh,
don't know
me
if you
too.
did, Aaron, but
Oh, I love doing these. This is great. When you just get people asking questions, go over the story. I mean, eventually we all give our story over and over again. And that's like with Brian, like he's given his story over and over again, but I want to do something different with him that, we have a different perspective. And same if Kelly wants to do it in the future, Teresa wants to do it in the future. Um, I was trying to bring something a little bit different. Who's the guy you're interviewing? Oh,
yeah. I think his name is Aaron. I'm not sure if it's Aaron or Aaron. I always get confused with
that's
that.
it, Brian.
And
You done. That's it, Brian. I'm enough of you. That's enough. That's enough, Brian. There you go, Brian. You deserved it. You got it. You had your chance. You pushed your luck.
Terry Sue says Bry is being a smart ass. It's like
Yes. Yes. But Brian, I'll still see you on Thursday. And push his luck. I know, but kidding
and
enough.
Spanky says, "Good
It-
live today, Thomas. I was just going to briefly pop by, and I stayed for 2 hours. What the hell?" I guess me and my guests have that effect on people, Spanky.
Hey, I don't mind doing this. I don't mind talking to people. Whatever helps people. Like this is just, we all have different circumstances in our lives. We don't know what each other's going through on the outside, and you never know how something like this might just pick up someone's spirits. You know, you just never know. Like I always say, when you go shopping to the store, just give someone a smile, say hi, because you never know. That just might pick up their day. They might be having the worst day ever, and you just like giving a smile, like, "Hey, how you doing?" Just something like that, could completely make someone's day. What showing off
Just to
shirts?
show,
I mean,
just to show Rick.
I have a boring shirt. I have my beef butter and bacon shirt, proper human diet.
Oh, cool.
I have that. I don't
Well,
have
this
a
this
big
was
collection of
this was a
shirts.
show off for Rick Stumpster Chicken. Always fresh.
Oh, where'd I go?
Where'd you go? I don't know.
No,
Um,
my camera moved on me.
oh, okay.
I got to get some of these shirts because they're cool and they're funny. I got to look at them all and find some.
If it helps one person, it's worth it. It definitely is worth it.
And
So
I started my channel to help one person. That's all, and I did. I helped me. Now
that's
I
all
need
it
to
takes.
I need to help the next person. And if I have to do one at a time, I will do one at a time, even if I have to go all the way to Florida and have some iguana, because apparently iguana is the way to go. Hey, kid, you want to
Yep.
be on
And
TV?
you know what? In this stage, I think we can all say this. Like, if you're gonna have iguana, you need to have it cooked by Rick. Like,
I'm gonna come down there, Rick, and even though I've never met you, I'm going to
I'm not gonna
ask
trust
for some
iguana. I'm
iguana.
not gonna trust iguana being served to me by anybody else but Rick. I'm sorry.
I
I don't
mean,
even care. I don't even care if there's a certification from Rick from the to the guy. I want the actual Rick to actually make the iguana for me.
I will only eat iguana if it was taken from the waters by Rick's house, and that'll be that.
Right. But no, I want him to actually be the one to serve it and cook it. Like I want his hands to be a part of it.
Heart attack iguana.
Heart
I'm
attack.
gonna make it. I'm gonna make a heart attack meatball. It'll probably be the same as a heart attack burger, but I'm gonna do it in a meatball because I like making meatballs.
Yeah, that actually sounds good. Um, all right, so we'll end it here, and I had a great time, just like you did. and I'm
Oh
hoping
yeah, this
everybody
is
else had a
great.
good time. So stay tuned next week. Wednesday, I think I'm going to do roundtable because I'd like to keep up this up with the Wednesdays and Saturdays if possible. If it does get canceled, it's not going to be because of anything bad. It'll be just because I had to work or something like that. But other than that, which is very doubtful because my boss knows I do these lives twice a week. So put it, if you want to put in the comments afterwards. Then we're going to get going. No one really answered my question. How do you guys feel about a private, just like Mitch does, like one week and do a third live, and once a week do a members only. Um, I think I like the idea, but I just want to see other people's opinions. So just be like thumbs up or thumbs. Well, don't do thumbs down. Do yay or nay. Okay. Spanky says to do it. All right. So we got one yay. What do you think, Aaron? Do you think it's a good idea?
I, I I don't think this is ever a bad idea. I mean, just get because you just get your small group of people together. Y'all just chat,
Yeah.
shoot the crap, as they say. There's nothing wrong with that. It's always fun. It's a little more intimate as well. For you, you don't have a bunch of extra people. So yeah, I never have an issue with those. Those are always fun.
Excellent. Cool. Yeah. So I think I have about 20 members at this point. So, all right. So if you can just stay on a couple seconds.
Of course.
And
And
so we're going to get going. And just remember, everybody, live, love, heal, and for goodness sakes, eat the, excuse my language, freaking meat. See you guys later.
bye all.